Flipped him over and danced to another victim to the crossovers. Crossed him up and sent him down.
Time for the crossover. John and Josh are here. Hi, guys.
What up?
You filled up with tacos and beer yet? Because that's what's going around the...
Yeah, Nick asked me. He came up and said, do you want a beer? And I said, no.
I don't know where the beer came from. Where'd the beer come from?
Downstairs.
But where?
Technically me.
Well, New Glarus, which is in Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin.
Right. Which you have to go to Wisconsin to get this beer.
Oh, is this the one from Mark?
It's
Yeah, I'm
when
sure.
Mark
got us all cases of
Yeah, it's the case that Mark dropped off, but I wasn't going to drink it all on my own, so I
Oh.
donated it to the holiday party.
You got cans. I got bottles, baby.
Mm-hmm. Josh got a bottle too.
I got cans.
I got cans, which is fine. I'm good with the can.
Look at these
Wow.
cans.
I like it in the can.
I actually
Nice.
like it.
Look at these cans.
So people were drinking at the office.
I guess so.
Nice.
Well, then I already had.
Well, it is the eve of
We
Armageddon.
We also played like a trivia thing where it was using beer pong rules, but it
What
wasn't like beer
happened down
pong.
there? Why did I not hear about this?
Well, you're
party?
on the air. You're not ever allowed to
Oh,
do
that's right. No, I
Right.
did get invited to this. Party.
I'm really good at beer pong, guys. I hit 3 out of my 4 shots.
Wow.
I was close on the 3rd one.
Was this called? Was this the one that was called Fun and Festive Things or something like that?
Is the
The
festive party?
festive. It was called Festive Fun.
Festive.
Yeah, festive
thing.
fun.
Festive Fun. That's what it was called.
Fun and festive.
Yeah, so they did like this beer pong thing, but instead of a ping pong ball, you had a dice.
Yeah.
And then there was just constantly the pyramid of cups, and then you had to throw the dice into the cup, and then you picked it up, and then there was a number or a letter, and then that corresponded to a
How many
trivia
shots
question.
you do?
No, trivia question. They
Nick's
were all
hammered.
Christmas themed.
Yeah. So this will be quite the show today.
One of the questions
Yeah.
were how many voices did Tom Hank have in the Polar Express?
Tom Hank?
Tom
What,
Hanks.
Tom
singular Hank?
Yeah, just a
Just
Tom
one
Hank.
Hank.
The answer is
Tom
6.
Hanks
I guess
is the
5,
Nerg,
so I was close.
Nerg live version of Tom Hanks.
It's the Tom Hanks cover actor.
How many times have you seen Polar Express, Nick?
4 or 5.
Yeah,
I saw it once and it bored me to tears.
Yeah, I
I've never
think
seen it.
It'd be like ultimately, I probably have seen it a total of once, but never in one sitting.
The only
Never sat down and watched the Polar Express.
The only major thing I remember from that movie, there was like this loop of this kid who lied about doing something, and he got on the naughty list. He was just like, "I didn't do it," and then they looped it like 7 times, so it just gets drilled into your
That
head.
was in the movie?
Yeah, it's like, "I didn't do it."
Was it
I
English?
didn't do it.
Boy.
He sounded a little English.
Oh, boy.
I remember being pissed though because that
I'm on
movie,
a train.
that movie was in theaters the Christmas I was in 1st grade, and
Wow.
our 1st grade teacher
So
would always
young.
do this thing every year. It was like a Polar Express watch party. It was popcorn, hot cocoa. We'd watch the Polar Express.
Mhm.
And I was stoked because I'm like, oh, we're going to watch the new movie. How it thought it was in theaters. How'd we get it? But it was just a person reading the book, the book, The Polar Express. And then the next class after mine got to see the actual movie because it was out
Ha.
on VHS already.
Mhm. Sorry, Nick.
It's disappointed.
Yeah.
It's an okay movie. Not great.
Josh says he watches it or he watched it this weekend and he watches it every year. #believe.
Believe.
Is that a
That's-
reference to
Yes,
Polar
that's a
Express?
thing. Because when you stop believing in Santa, then you don't see him anymore.
Well, Santa's definitely real for everyone who's listening.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you say it like that, Josh?
I don't know what you're talking about, Nick. People
We-
are listening.
We all know. We all know Santa's real.
He's treating him just like Jalen Hurts.
Wow, you want
He's
Santa
smiling.
to break his
He's
shoulder? Sorry, kids. Christmas is canceled. Santa broke his shoulder. They're not going to the
He
playoffs.
just-
Santa has a
Sprained it.
sprained AC
He
joint.
just sprained it. He'll be fine. He'll come back in the playoffs. He'll be fine.
Santa's going to win the Super
You
Bowl.
seem like you're wanting that to happen.
I mean, I'd like him to be worse than fine, actually. I hope he sucks
There
in the
it
playoffs.
is. There it is.
I can root against the guy.
Is there weird tension
didn't
at
say
home
anything.
right now?
No. She was mad on Monday, but I think everything's fine.
He thinks.
Yeah, we'll see what happens on Saturday, though. She's doing all the cooking.
No,
Or
she's just
Christmas
being
Eve.
nice because Christmas is happening. But after Christmas,
No, well, Christmas
your eyes
Eve is when
open.
they play. And then next month is when it'll get really dicey.
Yeah.
Because
Is-
one of our teams, if not both of our teams, will get eliminated at some point.
Yep.
Be a bad time. Be a
Oh
bad time.
man.
Yeah.
What if they both go out? What if they both go out on the same day? Could be fun.
In a way,
Divisional round?
In a way, if you gave me door
Usually
number
you're
1 and
gonna
it's that,
win.
or door number 2 and it's like everything's on the table, I might take door number 1 because I'm just not confident that Dallas can win it all. I'd rather have a guarantee that they get eliminated at the same time.
Wow.
Because that means that
You'll sign on the dotted line for both teams being out in the divisional round.
I think I would. Just don't trust Dallas. To
So
go on the
you'll
run.
take
Because then they
door,
don't
door
win.
A is that. Door B is any other result.
Everything's on the table. They could win. Dallas could win it all. Whatever it is. Yeah.
Hmm.
I just don't think Dallas is going to win it all.
Wow.
But if I can guarantee the
you
Eagles
really don't want Philly to win it all.
No, that's the worst of all the results that could happen. That's the worst one that is on the table for me. Even and I'm the guy
What
who
if they
came
play,
on the
is there
air.
a scenario where they play each other in the NFC Championship game?
Yes.
Well, they could play each other in the second round.
Right.
Yeah, that's the most likely.
But what if they play in the NFC title game? That's worse.
That would have to. You need a really big upset in the first round. A 6 or a 7 would have to beat a 3,
Which
or a
isn't
2.
out of
which
the
could happen
question
because we got crappy division champs.
you got Detroit.
and you have the Vikings.
You have yeah. But
Yeah. So I need to. That's the scenario where that's a possibility. I think the second worst for me is the 49ers winning it all because there's a lot of tweets and recorded clips of me saying they're not winning with Brock Purdy. So that would be
Brock
bad
Purdy
too.
puts the Super Bowl MVP trophy up to his groin.
this postseason is shaping up to either be Josh's greatest or Josh's worst.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
This
almost
could be
like
a
there's
bad
no
time
middle
for
ground.
Josh.
Yeah.
Because the odds of the Vikings making a run are probably.
I'd be fine with
great.
that. I'd be totally good with that.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's about your best case scenario.
Yeah.
Say for your
Yeah. Oh, in
your-
the NFC?
yeah.
Crap, you're right.
Yeah.
Outside of Dallas, I'm
It's going to be
rooting-
pain no matter what, pretty much. Yeah.
Man, that's a bummer. Crap. Man, why did I have to have all those takes? Why'd I have to have a
Well, I
penalty?
wouldn't have had those.
Just
takes.
wait for Jalen Hurts to hear all the smiling
Oh,
and laughing you were doing on him the other day.
God, that whole city will lose their mind probably.
Well, they
Pathetic.
kind of lost their mind anyway.
Lose your mind type of city.
Mm-hmm.
There was New York this morning when somebody called into
To the fan?
yes, and thought that there might be maybe as a Yankee fan thought there might be some weird things going on with the Mets and some underground stuff because they were able to sign Carlos Correa for all this money. The Mets just decided they have all of the money in the world. Steve Cohen's like, I want to spend all the money.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Well, there are fans deciding that there might be some corruption or something else going on.
A Mets fan said this, or is this a Yankees
I believe
fan
it's a Yankee fan
accusing
yes.
them?
Yes.
Huh.
I mean, they're spending their money and they're going $100 million over this luxury tax.
I love
They
that.
don't care.
I love that. They are what Steve Cohen is doing. What I would do if I was a billionaire owner.
Yeah, you'd want to win.
If I was a billionaire and owned the Royals, yes, I would sign every free agent that existed.
Nice.
And make
All
them
of
on my
them.
team. Yeah.
Sorry, the Yankees can't field a team. They don't have any players. The Royals signed them all. Your AAA team would be amazing.
Yeah.
Congrats to the Storm Chasers.
They would have a huge year.
Yeah.
They would have a huge year. We'd have $1 million players
Mm.
on the Storm Chasers.
Mm.
That's what I would do.
I don't know if I would be that crazy with my money.
Why not? You got billions of dollars.
Well, yeah.
John
but-
doesn't care about winning, apparently. He's one of those gross owners.
What do you mean?
I hate those types of owners. The ones that are cheap.
I'm not saying I'd be cheap. I just don't know if I would go all in because
Who's your spirit animal?
usually
Dan Snyder?
that means failure.
That's true.
Oh yeah. I mean, pretty
Especially
much
for the
all of the
Mets.
outcomes are failures. It's
Yeah,
like Josh's
especially for the
playoff
Mets.
format.
Yeah.
It's like Josh's playoff thing. Pretty much everything is going to result in failure.
Yeah.
Might as well fail spectacularly.
I mean, I'm with you. I don't care if the Mets do this or not. That's great. It'll make it more fun when they fail.
Fun.
Bingo.
Oh, that's always fun. yeah.
We'll be able to
Why
laugh
let me ask a
hysterically.
question, because I'm not a big baseball guy. Why do people hate the Mets so much? Why is it so funny? Because I even
They're the
find
most
humor
fun
in
team
it.
to laugh at.
Yeah, why do we do this? I even laugh at them.
Because there's been a lot,
they've done a lot of
yeah,
comically
there've been a lot
dumb
of dumb
things.
things. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, they've done a lot of really dumb things.
Like I say Mets and I just think yakety sax. That song is playing
Yeah,
in my head right
Pretty
now.
much,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, do they run to third instead of first after they hit the ball?
Occasionally, yeah.
Oh. Well, I mean, what's his name? Bobby Valentine dressing up. He gets thrown out of a game, comes with a fake mustache and
That was pretty
sunglasses.
funny.
Oh, he'd be good at banana ball.
There's the Bobby Bonilla contract.
The Bobby Bonilla contract.
I mean, the
yep.
fact that, the Wilpon family basically got bilked out of their money because of a Ponzi scheme.
Pretty funny.
Of course, the 62 Mets always,
Meet the
always
Mets.
like the benchmark for the worst,
Mhm.
Team in Major League Baseball history.
Was
They've had
it?
some pretty epic like second half collapses.
They
Second
really
half
have.
collapses.
And then there are 2 World Series. They have 2, right? 69 and 86.
Yeah.
Nice. They're like classic moments in baseball
Yes.
history, right?
Yes.
Because at 69 was that the Amazing Mets?
that
Is
was
that
the
what-
amazing Mets.
Then obviously 86 is Buckner.
People
Was it-
forget they lost in 2015 to the Royals.
They did in 5 games.
And they kind of lost spectacularly there too.
Because they allowed 100 runs in extra innings in game 5.
Well, they should have won. They should have won game 1 when they gave up a home run to Alex Gordon. And they should have won game 5 too at home. And Lucas Duda decided to throw a ball to the backstop in extra innings, and Eric Hosmer slid into home.
That's fun.
Safe.
Listened to a podcast once. Was it one of the Mets teams in the 80s where just every player was on coke?
That was all of them.
Oh, yeah,
Mets
the
teams.
86 Mets, the 87 Mets.
yes.
Yeah,
The
they were
88 Mets,
all.
the 89
No,
Mets.
podcast I listened to did a whole biography about their drug dealer, like
Well,
specifically.
Yeah, Dwight Gooden literally missed the World Series parade because he was coked out of his mind.
Uh-huh.
You know, so yeah,
Good
that
times.
Cocaine.
that was one of the more amazing,
Good song.
groups of players
Thank you, Hep.
of all time. It's a really
Yeah.
good 30 for 30 too.
I never saw that one.
Well, 30 for 32?
I haven't watched a 30 for 30 in a long time.
I mean, I guess technically I don't think it's a 30 for 30, but it's an ESPN Films. It's a 4-part series on the
yes.
86 Mets.
That's right. Yeah.
And as much as I hate the Mets, I did enjoy watching it.
I can send you guys a link to that podcast episode I listened to.
Well, I mean, I saw the movie. It was the same thing.
Wow.
Talked about
They also lost in the Subway Series in 2000.
Yes,
I remember
they did.
that. Roger Clemens threw a bat at Mike Piazza.
That's true.
God,
It
I forgot
skipped
about
Take
almost,
this, Mike.
almost
Get
stabbed
outta
him in the
here.
heart.
They played a whole series in a subway?
They did, yeah.
Wow.
Have you ever seen Roger Clemens throw a bat at Mike Piazza?
No.
You should
it,
Google it.
it broke off in half. It turned into a spear, and he almost stabbed him on the baseball field. Yeah, it was crazy.
And then they almost got in a fight.
Yep.
Good times.
They were both on roids.
Imagine that. Roid rage. Roid rage.
Just Roger.
Yeah, just Roger.
That's true. Yeah.
Busy program. We are
Bye,
2 minus 18 minutes
Matt
to Matt
Rule.
Rule.
Let's go, Matt.
Will we get
Matt Rule
will we
won?
get product placement?
I don't think
Yeah.
so, John.
I want product placement.
I don't think so. Wait, I thought
Bring
you
a box
did-
of cornflakes.
I thought you didn't like this type of
a
stuff.
can of soup.
I thought at Christmas time you hated commercialism, and now you want commercialism.
Capitalism.
I just want to see something there.
Just-
Hell,
you
it could
are
be a
so
toilet
con-
plunger. I don't care. I want product placement.
I used a toilet plunger this week.
You should put a picture of himself and Deion Sanders photoshopped into a picture, but Deion Sanders is like really small.
He's Mac Jones.
He's
and Matt Rule's running him over.
Yeah, he should do a meme. That's
Yeah,
what he should do.
Yeah, somebody edit this together.
that's what they need. They need to do a blue screen backdrop and have somebody, post, taunting images behind him.
I like this.
Instead of the generic red backdrop with the click it or ticket and the Husker logo,
Yeah.
they need to have a dynamic presentation so they can change things up.
And you
like
can put
this.
memes on it.
Put memes out
Memes
there,
of the
product
week.
placement, all of this stuff.
Folks, we love memes.
See you guys.
All right,
Bye-bye.
there's Connor. That's the crossover. Yep, we're a little shorter today, but Nick's already got plenty for the best of crossover show, so we figured.
Happy New Year.
And besides,
Somebody said that outside earlier. Happy New Year. Yeah, Mike is done. We're done seeing Mike
Yeah,
for the year.
I
Happy
guess
New Year,
so.
Mike.
no more traffic reports until next year, I guess.
Folks, traffic.
Good
It's a
luck.
thing.
Good luck with it.
Drive safe.
Yes, we do have to celebrate something when we continue next on 1620 The Zone.
The Connor Happer Show.
Matt Rule has quote tweeted himself and did a king hat. What's a king hat called? Josh. Josh.
It's a crown.
What's a crown and a flame, a fire emoji? Are you sure that's what it is? A crown, not a king hat?
The Connor Happer Show. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Winter storm warning in effect Wednesday afternoon in the metro. Expect a cloudy and cold morning, then light snow starting afternoon. Highs will top out in the low to mid 20s. Snow will pick up in the evening, and so will the winds as Arctic air surges in. Expect areas of snow and blowing snow through the night with 2 to 4 inches possible by Thursday morning. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
Your vehicle is important. It gets you where you need to go, but it does much more than that. I'm Darcy with Dingman's Collision Center, and at Dingman's, we know your vehicle is an investment and that safety is your priority. To make sure your vehicle is as safe as it was prior to an accident, bring it to Dingman's for proper, safe, and certified repairs. We protect you and your investment. We've been voted Best of Omaha for the past 17 years. At Dingman's, we'd rather be the best than apologize for anything less. Find us at dingmans.com.
At Sid Dillon Chevrolet, we prioritize you and your vehicle needs. Visit our dealerships to shop inventory or to order your new vehicle. Shop online at SidDillonChevy.com.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Chevy, find new roads.
I never thought I'd struggle to afford groceries at my age. This isn't how I want to live.
If you're facing food insecurity, there's a place to turn. Visit foodbankheartland.org today to find food near you or to make a donation.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried new Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
Ramona's Mexican Restaurant is a North Omaha original on 30th Street. Everything you've loved about Ramona's is still the way you remember. Nachos, the works, the popular deep-fried burrito, that beast of a cheeseburger, and don't forget those cinnamon chips. They offer indoor and outdoor seating, fresh margaritas and cocktails, plus a convenient walk-up window. And if you buy a Ramona's t-shirt, they'll take 20% off your bill when you wear your t-shirt. Just north of 30th Street in historic Florence. Come check them out today.
Listen to Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jay Overtime, the Creighton men's basketball postgame show on 1620 The Zone. Live from DJ's Dugout downtown. It's right after every home game, presented by Barry Law. Exclusively on your home for the Creighton Blue Jays. 1620 The Zone.
Hey everybody, it's Michael Sevilla for Rotella's Italian Bakery Bread. We want to wish you a happy holidays. It's such a great time of year, and we know you're spending it with your family, and you're getting together with great gatherings. Whether with your family or friends, we want them to be merry and bright. And from all of us at Rotella's Bakery, we wish you a happy holidays. And of course, that happy holidays involves tradition. 100 years of tradition from Rotella's, a tradition right at your house as well. Head over to 108th and Harrison or your local grocery store and experience a great holiday with Rotella's Bakery Bread.
The Zone Hotline is powered by Los Hills Harley-Davidson, your home in the hills. This edition of Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone is proudly presented by Union Bank and Trust. The program starts now.
KOZN. Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO. Don't miss a moment, they'll give you your fix. They're on every day from 2 until 6. Spend your afternoons with John, Josh, and Nick. John, Josh, and Nick. They'll show you what sports talk really is.
Nick, you should stop saying these problematic things right before we crack on the mics.
No, you know what? It's probably better that he did say it before we cracked
Right,
it on
but
the
now
mics.
I'm very distracted.
Yeah, me too. A little worried.
Yeah.
A little worried. We work with this guy.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. It's Dumb Debates Wednesday and Matt Rule press conference in about 10 minutes. We'll carry it live right here on 1620 The Zone. And you know what? We've decided we're going to leave our faces on. You can watch.
So we're actually going to do this?
We can. Yeah, why not?
All right.
You can watch our reactions to whatever Matt Rule says.
I still think Kool-Aid Rule should be on there.
Yeah, I did
It's
like
a
the
good
idea
graphic, John.
of Kool-Aid Rule.
I wasn't really trying.
Rule-Aid.
Oh, yeah.
Rule-Aid.
I really
The
wasn't.
Rule-Aid, man.
People there got a lot of likes when we tweeted it out the
Yeah.
other day, John. People were really digging it.
I think it broke 200.
Graphic design is your passion. They were
It really wasn't an attempt at graphic design. It was.
We need to get the Rule-Aid man on a shirt.
Look at that.
Well, what we need to do, though, before we get to Matt Rule is we need to celebrate. We need to celebrate because it is VD That's right. It's happened, folks.
VD.
Here we go.
Suck on that, Colorado.
Here again, the skies above are here again. Let us sing a song of cheer again. Happy days are here again.
Yes,
Yeah, they
ladies and
are.
gentlemen, it's Victory Over Dion Day.
Oh, the first of many, John.
Malachi Coleman.
First of many.
To Coach Prime. Stick Louie where the sun don't shine. Malachi Coleman, the wide receiver from Lincoln, who was getting flirtations, flirtatious with Coach Prime, teased him. Just flat teased him. Just made it sound like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll switch my visit from Michigan to Colorado.
Use up one of your official visits on me, Coach Prime.
Sure. And then I'm going to pull the old switcheroo. So Malachi Coleman goes down in the history books as the first VD Day celebrant.
So great.
It's VD Day, Victory Over Dion. And there's more to come. 262 days until September the 9th.
The countdown continues. By the way, Cowboy Kermit tweets in asking, you shall receive. And it's Matt Rule giving the old stiff arm to Coach Prime.
Ooh, Matt Rule might have broken his neck on the play because his head has turned
It
completely
looks like The
the wrong way.
Exorcist.
Yeah, he is.
Spin around, start vomiting a little bit.
And by the way, Coach Prime's facing the wrong way too.
That was quite the stiff arm, John. Quite the stiff arm.
It's a nice little graphic there.
Uh-huh.
But yep.
It's Louis.
So there you go, Louis. Ha! You can keep your Louis. We got Malachi.
By the way, Money Chris, first of all, he's being very positive about this recruiting class, which is just crazy to me.
The positive
he
boy.
He sent an email yesterday. This is beyond stupid. I don't care if I had $1 billion. Why would anyone pay this much for a luggage trunk? It's Louis. He's bringing his luggage. It's Louis. $372,000, John, for a Louis trunk.
It's
Look at that.
designer, guys.
Look at that. $400K for a trunk.
It's designer.
Well, I mean, I would understand it if it was like bulletproof, if you had to
Maybe it's bulletproof.
transport.
And there's a wallet
really-
trunk inside too. Louis Vuitton.
Well,
He's bringing his luggage with him.
that's fine. That's fine. You have your Louis. We have Malachi.
Mm-hmm.
And the recruits are still coming in. The latest is that defensive taxel. Defensive taxel. Yeah, the 335 as a new position is called defensive taxel.
I like this.
Defensive tackle Vincent Carroll Jackson, who was committed to Syracuse, has decided to follow Tony White to Nebraska. So he has become the latest.
How about this? Apparently, because I haven't read as much about him, I don't believe he's been playing football that long, though. Like a recent, here we go. He did not play football or any other sport until his senior season of high school, John. You know who he received offers from? Florida, Georgia, among others.
Wow.
So that's, we talk about raw prospects. This is an incredibly raw prospect.
Yeah.
Incredibly raw prospect.
Let's see. I'm just trying to look. It's kind of hard to keep up, to be honest with you, because
well,
it updates so quickly.
I can barely lift my right arm. I did so many.
So
Malachi committed, as we just talked about. They've gotten
now
few
that was
extra,
a couple of hours
they've
ago.
gotten
But Vincent Carroll Jackson,
they've gotten a few transfers today. Eric Fields, he was one of the latest commits. He happened within the last hour
Elijah
or so.
Judy,
Judy,
the former 4-star defensive tackle from Texas A&M, he's transferring.
How about Josh Fleeks? Someone found a tweet of mine from 5 years ago where I said that Nebraska needed to sign Josh Fleeks so he could make puns. I said that 5 years ago.
You did?
Yeah. Someone found this tweet and responded to me.
Big pun guy, Josh.
Yeah, and then this was great. Aaron Sorensen even responded to it, so I retweeted her tweet from 5 years ago. This is the content that you come to my Twitter feed for on a signing day. 5-year-old tweets.
Wow.
So yeah, Nebraska, this was the first Frost class. They went after him. Yeah, here it is.
That was before I could drink.
Yeah, December 7th, 2017. Nebraska needs to land recruit Joshua Fleeks, if only for the terrible puns we can collectively make. Well, it took 5 years, but they got him. Folks, we got him.
There's quite a few names in this group that we could make a lot of puns about.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we'll get the latest with Matt Rule, the press conference from Lincoln coming up next, and you'll be able to watch our reactions live on the video stream.
That's what you really wanted, to see our reactions to quotes.
Well, what else? We can put up a still graphic or that.
That's what we usually
The
do.
Roulade Man.
Yeah. Now I can't do what I normally do during press conferences. Eat Cheetos.
Well, then we'll put you behind the X. How
All
about
right,
that?
perfect. Canceled.
I'll put you behind the X.
Thank God.
Matt Rule press conference live from Lincoln next on 1620 The Zone.
Big names, big games. We've got them all. 1620 The Zone.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
We want to wish you a happy holidays and, of course, a happy new year as well. One of the great things about shopping in Omaha is so many great places based on tradition, and that's what Ted and Wally's is. Over 35 years, over 3,000 flavors with quality products, and making sure you know what they do is the old-fashioned way, giving you the best of ice cream. So as you're having a happy holiday, whether you're eating some ice cream or you're eating some cake, you need ice cream with it. Head over to Ted and Wally's, 2 locations, Benson in the Old Market, and tell them Severe sent you.
Here's this week's Maverick Minute. In their final non-conference game of the season, the Maverick men's basketball team was down 67-45 by Northern Colorado last Friday night. The Omaha men officially end their non-conference slate at 5-6. The Omaha baseball team has officially released its spring schedule. They'll play 25 home games at Tal Anderson Field for the 2023 season. And that's your Maverick Minute on your home for the Mavs. News Talk 1290, 1180 The Zone, and 1620 The Zone.
Cubby's supports the PACE program with Raise Some Dough. For every large pizza sold at Cubby's in the Old Market, Cubby's gives $1 to the Police Athletic League, serving at-risk and disadvantaged inner-city children with athletic and educational programs. PACE has over 5,800 program participants. The league reaches kids that would not normally be able to participate in athletics like soccer and baseball due to financial situations and family dynamics. PACE wants to give every kid the opportunity at athletics and a healthy and safe environment. If you'd like to support PACE too, go to paceomaha.org.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
This message is for the guy who isn't perfect in the bedroom. And let's be honest, who is? Maybe the issue is getting it up or keeping it up, or maybe it's finishing too soon. If any of these performance hiccups sound familiar to you, don't sweat it. Hims can help. At 4hims.com, you can go online and get clinically proven prescription medication that treats these issues, prescribed for you, if appropriate, by licensed medical providers. And the medication is shipped free to your door in discreet packaging. Plus, Hims gives you unlimited follow-up visits with medical providers. No one's perfect in the bedroom every time, but with Hims, you can get a lot closer than before. And chances are, your partner will agree.
To get started today, go to 4hims.com/perfect. That's 4hims.com/perfect for your free visit. FORHIMS.com/PERFECT.
You're listening to Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Man, I love this station.
1620 The Zone.
Oops. So as it stands right now, it looks like there are 21 signings and 6 transfers, if I'm reading this correctly. I'm still waiting for 24/7 to officially update, but Carol Jackson signed, right? And Eric Fields signed, and they had been in the hard commits category, so I believe we're up to 21 in this class.
22 according to the team rankings page.
Oh, well then
22.
Someone needs to, audit the accounting or something.
Yeah, indeed.
But we'll hear from Matt Rule as he is about ready to step to the podium, and we'll find out what he has to say regarding this recruiting class. And because this is the first time we've had a chance to hear from him in this type of a setting since 24 days ago, perhaps answers on some of the other questions, first chance to be asked and comment on the various coaching hires.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about, John, is what's the breakdown between, hey, talk about signing day with us and tell us about your, coaching staff that's still getting put together.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there's plenty to discuss regarding this and other things. So Matt Rule coming up here momentarily, and we'll of course bring it to you live here on 1620 The Zone. Still to come, Mike Schaefer to recap the entire day. Also, we've got Dumb Debates and Mitch Holtis. So plenty to get to outside of the signing day material. And who knows, there may be more to come. We haven't normally we get the release from the university, the official release. We haven't had that yet.
That's true. And another thing that we didn't mention, and I know it's been talked about on the various shows today, but the Marcus Satterfield news, we had discussed it plenty over the last couple of weeks. Essentially, once Jake Peets, when that became a move that wasn't going to happen, would Satterfield coach the quarterbacks? Well, that was made official earlier today, which just really does seem like it's going to kind of set up for a wide receiver, tight ends, perhaps combo,
right,
with whomever they end up hiring to coach the wide receivers. So still waiting on that too.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things happening here today. Malachi Coleman is now the highest rated commit in the group. Prince Will Uman Million. I got to get used to saying it the right way. Uman Million. Second highest rated, Riley Van Poppel, the defensive lineman from Argyle, Texas, third highest rated according to the 24/7 composite. Those are the 4 stars according to the 24/7 composite. And later on, we'll have I went back and looked at the attrition rate of the last 4 classes, trying to figure out, well, how many of these guys actually are still on the roster, because these are essentially the classes that make up 90% of the roster. There's just still a few 2017, 2018 probably stragglers thanks to the extra COVID year that are there, but really the core 4 classes, and looked at the attrition rate, which will probably change. I mean, I'm assuming that we're not done seeing some players transfer out, just simply because that's the way of the world.
I mean, look, right now they have 6 quarterbacks. They have 6 quarterbacks, so because no one's left and they've added somebody.
That's true.
So they have 6 quarterbacks in the room.
Yeah, so I'd anticipate that we'll lose at least one of those.
Yep. There will definitely be a player that moves on.
Who knows how many others will be out. So we'll see. But Matt Rule coming up, and I believe he is headed to the podium right now. Here we go. Matt Rule live from Lincoln.
Taylor, Brittany, Joni, all the people that were here before, they've done a great job of streamlining this process, and all the coaches that I've hired and brought in, I think have really, really worked hard. And so I'm very grateful for them. So, and then finally, I want to thank our coaches' wives. In a short amount of time, when people are trying to figure out if they want to send their kids here, they don't have much of a relationship with us, and they're trying to figure out who we are, our coaches' wives, who my wife, Julie, and the assistants, coming from all different places across the country, flying in and getting to know people and making sure that they know that what we say is real, that we want to have a family feel. And we want this to be a family, not just a football team. So very grateful for them. The tours were awesome. Our academic staff, our compliance staff, our life skills are second to none in what they do. And I think people believe in what can happen here. So with that, I'll take whatever questions you guys have.
Sean Callahan with Husker Online. What was just the biggest challenge for you these last 2 weeks to kind of put together over 30 official visitors and kind of get this all set up?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything, to be quite honest. There's a lot of details. There's a lot of things to get organized. The way I want to run official visits is probably different than the way they had, and so making last minute changes to get it the way I think it should be. I thought people bent over backwards. The people at the Kindler, the people at the Embassy Suites, the people at all the restaurants in town. I mean, I think one of the key things for us is to really show off Lincoln. And I think, getting them out into the community is important. So there's just a lot of details that had to be worked through that our people worked really hard at. I think the biggest thing is just relationships. They don't really know us, and so how can you get to know someone over, 24 days enough that they're willing to come spend the next 4 years of their life here with you. And so that was really probably the biggest challenge. And We were really honest and direct with people, and some kids it was right for, some it wasn't. But in the end, I think we got enough guys that really believe in what we believe in.
Matt Rule. Matt, Brian Christopherson. My name's not Matt Rule. Brian Christopherson from 24/7. That first week, you hit the in-state really hard. Why was that such a big deal to you to start there?
Well, I think you always start at home. The key to long-term success is for every 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th grader in the state of Nebraska to grow up, dreaming of playing out here, and so they have to see other kids just like them do that. And so as I went through this process of evaluating this job, if I would be a good fit here, I got to know these players. I watched them, and I wanted the local kids to stay here and play here in Nebraska. So we got a lot of them. A couple we didn't get, but the ones that we got, they came for the right reasons. They wanted to be here, and we can't take everybody, but the ones we got are definitely good enough, and they're going to fight for their university.
Coach Steve Sipple, Husker Online. How do you work to instill that idea that 4th graders, 5th graders dream of playing Nebraska? What can you do on a practical level to instill that?
Honestly, win, do it the right way. I was talking to one of the top 2024 recruits in the country. Obviously, I can't say their name, but top 2024 recruits in the country that is down in Texas, and everyone has a lock to go to one of the schools in Texas. And we're having a conversation, and he's like, "Coach, you don't remember me?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Coach, I came and saw 5 games of yours when I was in 8th grade, and this player who played for you was my cousin, and this play." So to me, the best thing that I can do and our staff can do is that every player that comes here and plays for us leaves here and says, "You know what? Like, that was awesome. I got developed." And they'll go back to their towns and they'll tell people, and they'll say, "Hey, you know what they're saying is true. It's right." That's the best resume we have. That's our book of business. Is every high school coach says, "Hey, I want my guys to go there and play for that staff because they do things right." And so that, and then win. You grow up and you want your best memories are coming up here and watching big games. And so the way you win though is just kind of handle it day to day. And so we'll get there, but it's important to me that the kids know that that's a possibility. And we're not going to play games and hey, you're good enough for a scholarship, but we really don't want to give you. We're going to give guys scholarships when they're good enough, and we're going to get them here and coach them.
Hey, Coach, Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald. How you doing? You guys, I was struck by just the sheer number of players you added on defense in a short amount of time, both the transfers and then the guys out of high school. How important did you feel like it was to get a lot of talented athletes in here, and how much do you think you have to change what you have on your roster to fit the defense you want to run?
So I came into it, number one, saying to myself that the mistake a lot of guys make when they take over a new job is to feel like they have to just go out and rush out and get a bunch of guys. So I was like, don't do that. However, I didn't realize the overwhelming response. A lot of guys that some of these kids that are committed to us, like I've known them since they were in like 7th grade, 8th grade. And they're like, "Oh, Coach, I want to come back with you." And so, or get back to you. So that kind of surprised me a little, not surprised me, but I didn't take that into account. Last time I was doing this, there was a limit on how many NLIs you could send down, how many scholarships you could give. That's not true anymore. And I've always had this belief that like, I'm not one of those guys who says I need 3 of these, 4 of these. People ask me all the time, how many more do you have? Guys are going to come, they're going to change their position. And we love to change guys' positions if it's going to help them play in the NFL. So I just try to take the best players, and obviously you need a minimum of certain things. I'm not saying that, but I'm not beholden to that. I like to think creatively, and Evan Cooper on our staff makes me think creatively. And so we try to take the best players possible. In terms of the defense, I'm not sitting here saying we're going to run the 3-3-5 defense. I'm not saying we're going to run this defense. What I loved about Tony is he's creative. And, we had a top 5 defense at Temple, or top 10 defense at Temple. And we were 4-3, and we went to Baylor, and the third year we went to the 3-3-5, and we had a top 5, I think, defense. Forgive me if my numbers are off slightly, but I think you get the gist. And then we got to Carolina, we switched from year 1 to year 2 because Brian Burns was really, really good and Hassan Reddick was good, and we kind of changed who we are. So we're not going to bring in, hey, this is our defense and you guys have to fit it. We're going to get the best players possible. We felt like we needed speed on defense, and that's what we tried to recruit.
Andy Kennedy from KUTV, ABC in Omaha. Is there an intangible or something you were looking for in these kids? Obviously, they're all very talented, what they can do on the football field, but is there an overlying characteristic that kind of brings everybody together?
Yeah, I want guys who want to come here for the right reasons. I'm not, I don't want guys who are coming here saying, what's how big is this NIL deal I'm going to get from these people? I don't want kids coming here saying, I want kids who want to come here to get an education, win at football, and have a chance to go play in the National Football League. People that want to come here and impact the community and make the University of Nebraska campus a better place because of their presence. And so, though that mindset's really, really important to me, I'll be honest, I was blown away with the maturity of a lot of the young men that I've met during this process. I mean, the guys who are committed to the previous staff, you sit down with those guys and they're grown, they're great families, and they love football. And, when I say I'm a developmental coach, it just means that I believe that I want to help guys get better. And so to do that, you have to have players who want that, who want to wake up every day and just work and grind. And so that's all really important to me. If we have the core of our team that's like that, we'll be hard to beat.
Coach Steve Mark with Inside Nebraska. Offensive line, what are your thoughts on it right now, what you have right now, and then the 2023 haul?
Well, let me say two things. Hopefully you guys know me. I'll be always really blunt, but always respectful. I'm kind of not bought into the narrative that I hear on the team. I hear from everywhere that the offensive line is the problem. Okay. We're going to have a good offensive line next year. And I like the guys that are in that room already. And I just think you have to have a commitment. We have to have an identity in offense of what we're going to do. When you kind of trying to figure out, hey, are we going to throw it team, run it team? What are we? You put those guys in hard positions. And that's why, Marcus came with me to Carolina. I made him be the assistant O-line coach. A lot of guys call plays because they're thinking about the quarterback only. And they're asking offensive linemen to do really hard things. You got to go coach it. And you coach it, it changes your approach. And so we're going to put those guys in a good position that are here. So I'm going to fight for those guys. I like those guys. We're going to try to, we've tried to bring in some depth. And I wanted to bring in a great young group that we can develop and watch them grow. And the previous staff, Coach Frost, they had done a nice job of identifying. I like those players. But we also, we're going to continue to try to look, because I'll never, ever, ever not take a talented offensive or defensive lineman. That's what wins games.
Matt, Mitch Sherman, The Athletic. Back to the in-state players that you signed and what you saw. What did you find? What did you learn about in-state players, about football in the state of Nebraska, about high school coaches in the state of Nebraska during these 3 weeks?
Well, when I first got the job, I called Brock Knudsen and I said, hey, Matt Rule, the new head coach, I know this is kind of a shock. Where do you stand? And he was like, Coach, I'm a Husker. I don't care who the head coach is. And I kind of laughed, hoping he'd pet my ego a little bit and tell me he was dying to play for me or something. But, that just really hit me. This is how we'll build this, is with big, physical, tough guys from this region. And so that, how much those guys loved Nebraska, how much it meant to them, to see that helmet, to come on these visits. It struck me. It really gave you a sense of purpose of this is important. But also, as I said, going into this, the football's really good, and the football's good in a lot of places. And, we found fast, dynamic athletes, and there's maybe a narrative that, there's not speed. Well, we went and got the fastest player in probably one of the fastest players in the nation from right here, and one of the best track athletes in the nation right here. So, we saw good football. The coaches were great. The people were great. But the biggest thing that hit me was how much those guys just really want to play for the University of Nebraska, and they want to be part of a championship team here.
And Matt, you guys signed Jeff Sims, no high school quarterbacks. What can you tell us about Sims and why you chose to bring him in as a transfer?
Yeah, so Jeff Collins was the head coach at Georgia Tech. Jeff and I worked together at Albright College, then at Western Carolina years ago. Jeff replaced me as the head coach at Temple. So I first went to Baylor. I went and visited them, watched them practice. I go to the NFL. I have every Saturday off to watch games. I've watched a ton of Georgia Tech games. And I fell in love with Jeff, just as a player early on. He's dynamic. He's athletic. He's smart. He's big. He's got accuracy. He can throw from the pocket. So when he became available, when he went into the transfer portal, I was already sold on him. And I even had, I even had people in the NFL say, hey, you need to go get this guy. I mean, everyone recognizes he's an NFL talent. And, you get to know him. His personality is elite. I mean, he's a really good person about the right things. His former coaches, they loved him. And so it was easy if it worked out. And, we're grateful that he chose to come here.
Hey, Matt, Luke Moore from Lincoln Journal-Star. See you recruit in Pennsylvania and Texas. How much did those past relationships really pay off in getting the recruits here?
Yeah, they had done a good job here. Dylan and Riley were already committed, so they had done a good job in those places. for me, obviously, to go down and get Prince Will, I posted the picture of me, eating at his mom's restaurant, which is a great restaurant in Austin, and having the fufu and the goosey soup and all that. Well, I had done that 4 years ago, recruiting Prince Lee, who then after I left came and took a visit to Baylor. So it's a wonderful family, and so those are some of the connections. I mean, I was talking to Prince Will when he was this big, and now he's this big. So we have a lot of people in Texas that we care about, that we know that they know how we do things. We'll recruit Texas every year. It'll be an elite priority. Then obviously in the Northeast, you look back at the history of Nebraska, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, those places sent great players here. And we have some connections in Philadelphia. We have some connections in Harrisburg and New Jersey, and we're going to try to take advantage of those.
The offensive line coach, what led to your decision to retain Donovan Gold?
Yeah, so Donovan was trained by Harry Heastand, whose brother-in-law, Pat Flaherty, I worked for at the Giants as the assistant O-line coach. And so when you get into O-line play, there's like three base philosophies, and they're very different. It's like difference between driving on the right side and the left side of the road. And so I don't want to, they're all great. I don't want to coach people. I don't want an O-line coach that's over here, because I deeply care about what the offensive line looks like. And we interviewed several candidates, and we talked to several guys, and to Donovan's credit, we interviewed him. I said, hey, I'll let you know, he showed up every day to work. He worked. He was, he just kept being there. Half of life is just showing up. And I kind of liked his vibe, and I liked his energy. But most importantly to me, he had been trained in the same system that I'm trained in, and I want us to play that way. And so it was just a natural fit. And he's a great guy. I got a chance to meet his wife, a wonderful family, and we're excited.
Coach Lauren Michelson, Channel 8 News here in Lincoln. With getting your staff in order, how reflective have they been of the culture you're looking to instill here in Nebraska? And how helpful with getting all these young men to come in here?
Yeah, I think we asked people in Pennsylvania, we asked people in Florida to send their kids to us. They were here this past weekend, and it was kind of cold, and it's a long way. And I think they looked at Terrence Knighton. They said, man, he just picked his family up, and he just came here to follow Coach Rule. And they looked at Coop, and they looked at EJ and all these guys. And I think it sent a great message to them that if they believe in what Matt's doing, that some of them would even leave NFL jobs to come work for him, then, I can trust them as well. And when the staff's all said and done, we'll probably have 7 or 8 former players of mine on the staff in different areas. And that really is really helpful to me because, I think they're stars. It's going to be a young staff. And I've had some people say to me, like, why is the staff so young? Because I'm old, and they make me feel younger, made me look younger to the guys, more relevant in terms of what's new and what's not. But also they've seen firsthand how the way that we do things affects lives. It affected their life, hopefully. And they're now going to pour into other people's lives. There's not going to be any celebrity coaches. There's not going to be guys with different agendas. This coach isn't going to say this, and this coach is saying this. We're all going to have one purpose. There's a vision. There's a brand of football that we play, and they all believe it. And every coach, we'll have, Omar's going to be a star on, social media. Coach Foley's going to go to different. They're all going to be themselves. I want them to all be different, but they better wake up every day saying, you know what, my number one priority is the guys on my team. Everyone spends too much time thinking about recruiting, and they don't think enough about the guys on their own team. But those guys on our team, that's our job. And so that's the guys that I have. I'm lucky to have them. I'm really grateful that Trev has allowed me to hire who I want to hire. And but I will say this, the guys on the previous staff, and I want to add something about Donovan, if I may, because I think he needs to be said. I've never, ever in my life asked all the players at their position about their coach and not had one guy say that they don't love him. And even a young man that went into the portal that I've known since I recruited him at Baylor, said to me, Coach, I'll stand on the table for that man. So that meant a lot to me that's coming from the players. Even a guy that's leaving is saying, I believe in him. So, but I think just great guys and people that you want to send your kids to play for.
Mentioned also Omar being a star on social media. I know you mentioned it on the radio show this morning, but you've been vocal on social media in a unique way. Can you kind of explain your view on social media as an asset to you as a head coach?
Yeah, so social media for me is this. I don't read it because it's not super flattering when you're the head coach all the time. So I don't read it, but I communicate from it. You know what I mean? And I pay attention to the players on it. I get to know the players as recruits, even when they're sophomores. I see what they're about. And but I also can send a message about who we are. You know what I mean? That we're going to be, an old school program with a new school look. You know what I mean? We're going to do things the modern way, but, retain old school values. And it's been fun. I mean, but my mom calls me every day and asks me to explain what this emoji means and this emoji means. And that's kind of taken on a life of its own. I have recruits asking me like, hey, can you say this and this? So if recruits are asking me to do it, I'll do it. But it's been fun. And I want to show off Lincoln. I've been going around taking pictures when I can, because this is a cool town. And the more people that get here, the more people will see that. You guys know that, but it's part of my job to share it with recruits.
Steve Mark with Inside Nebraska. You mentioned Ed Foley. What does he bring to the program, and especially as special teams coordinator?
Well, I think anytime you have a guy who's been a head coach, it helps. Okay. And anytime you have a guy that's put his son through college, even though Charlie didn't play football, but has had that age young man, that helps. I think anytime you have a guy that's coached the offensive line and coached the tight ends in your program, even though they're not doing that, that helps. And when I left Temple, he stayed and was the elite special teams coordinator for them. I think at one point that one year they scored like 5 different ways on special teams. Players played for him, and came to the NFL with me, so we learned some different things there. Special teams are very different in the NFL than they are in college, but some things that will carry forward. And I believe for us, special teams can win us 2 games a year, and Ed will handle that. And I'll be honest with you, that's not really my wheelhouse. Like, I've done it before, but I like to go down with the O-line and D-line. So having Ed run it, I know it's going to be done right. I can oversee, the head coach part of it, but Ed's elite.
Back to the quarterbacks for a second. Transfer quarterbacks have had a lot of success in college football. 4 of the last 8 Heismans were won by transfers. So it would be natural for a coach to just pursue transfers on a continual basis. But yeah, I assume you're going to recruit 4-year guys. When you look for a 4-year quarterback, a guy out of high school, what do you want that player to be, and how that might be different than somebody you're trying to pick up right away? What traits or what do you want that player to show that you can develop going forward?
Yeah, and I didn't come in and say, boy, I really want to transfer quarterback. When Jeff came available, I said, I want Jeff. That was I think there's really good quarterbacks. I think that's a healthy room. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in that room. I've watched practice tape on some of them. I have to get around them, but there's a lot of good players, and the best player will play with me. I mean, scholarship, walk-on, freshman, senior, none of that matters to me. In terms of recruiting, my history, at the Temple, 4 years as the head coach, PJ Walker was my quarterback all 4 years, started game 5 of his freshman year. You get to Baylor, Charlie Brewer goes in game 4 or 5 of his freshman year. He starts for me for 3 years, and we're in the Sugar Bowl. So I'm used to just playing a freshman and letting them ride. So, we'll recruit, we're going to continue to recruit quarterbacks in this class. I don't know what will happen. We'll recruit quarterbacks in the future. It's just kind of the new way of the world where you never know who's, if guys are going to leave or not, you're going to have to recruit. But in terms of freshman quarterbacks, I always look for guys who just have it. I know that sounds crazy, but, if you feel them when they play, if they're accurate, if they're tough in college football, if they can pick up first downs with their feet, if the team follows them, if they're winners, you should bring them on. And so to me, the more winners, the better. There was a time when you recruited a bunch of quarterbacks and they sometimes would go play other positions and be NFL players. Now guys transfer usually before that happens, but I'm just trying to find winners and put them on the field.
Can you speak to where you're at in the construction of the staff overall, and if you're moving Marcus to quarterbacks and how that might impact the rest of the offensive side?
Yeah, Marcus will coach the quarterbacks, which he wanted to do from the very beginning, and we kind of started down a different path of it. And then, but I thought he did a great job last year with Spencer, and so and he's done it for me before, so that's very natural to us. And then we'll make some other hires here in the coming weeks, as things, probably heading into January 3rd that week. So I get nothing to report specifically on those guys, but we'll get that done before we start the second recruiting period in January.
I know that first week you also wanted to learn this current roster. What did you kind of get from those conversations with players who are already here?
Just number one, that there's a lot of pride in their university, a lot of guys that love it here and want to win. Just a lot of conversations about, hey, how are things set up and what can we do to help you guys, do it in a way that you might think is better. But in terms of anything else beyond that, really watching some guys, and just evaluating them. And then after that, really, to me, I just want to start with a blank slate in January and just, I don't care what you've done, show me what you can do moving forward. And so that can be, that should be freeing for everybody where they can just show up and play. One of the hardest things about taking these jobs is all these kids I'm recruiting right now, their parents know me and they sent them to play for me. All the guys that are on the team, sometimes they're like, hey, where do I stand with coach? Every player that's on this team is my guy. and I'm going to coach them all the same. So I'm anxious to get to know them in the spring semester. But we had some really productive conversations, and guys shared a lot with me. And I think that we can really improve the team quickly with those guys.
Just on the QB, did you have some good conversation with Casey Thompson, just sort of about his future and his back from an injury and all that?
Yeah, I talked to Casey. Casey's an impressive young man. Obviously I don't share what I say with guys and conversations that we have, but he's an impressive young man. He played a lot of good football, and looking forward to him getting healthy and moving forward.
And what's your stance when a guy goes in the portal? Are they in there? Then can they ever come back? Or is it usually once they enter, are they kind of in the portal?
I don't have a stance. I think every player's different. To me, it's like anything in life. Anytime any of us say, hey, you know what? I'm done with something. You walk away from something, walk away from buying a house, you walk away from taking a job, you walk away from something, you kind of leave it in other people's fate. And so I think it just kind of depends on the history. I tried to come to this place because they didn't know me when they put themselves in the portal. I would certainly talk to anybody about coming back because they just hadn't been here with me before. I think there's some guys that should go in the portal everywhere. I mean, like they're not going to play and they want to play. I certainly understand that. So, so I only think I talked to 2 or 3 of the guys that went in the portal, but some guys, if they went in and they called me and said, hey, I want to come back, I'd say, you know what, I think it's best if you do move on. I just, I think it's important to find out what the dynamics are, what the behavior has been like since they've been here, what the academics are going to, and that's moving forward. I think we'll just take each one on an individual basis. To me, when you make a blanket statement, you kind of have to follow it, and everybody's on their own journey in life. And my job is just to help them. If it's not here, help them get somewhere else.
Which I think I heard you correctly. You said you tend to gravitate towards O linemen and D linemen. Why is that? What is it about your background? What is it about your philosophies about football that leads you to that?
Yeah, I just think the team that can control the line of scrimmage, whether it's run the ball and stop the run, or the ability to protect the quarterback and affect the quarterback, those teams win. And so, great quarterbacks usually are what makes teams. Don't get me wrong. But, a lot of that comes down to recruiting. I believe that you can develop guys up front on both sides of the ball. And so, I care about all the players, and I'll go over and watch the DBs, but I certainly can't sit there and talk to them about their back pedal at an elite level. I can talk about O-line and D-line play, and I can talk about linebacker play. So, I let my coaches coach, but I like to just kind of be around those guys. It's just, to me, it's just when you have a great O-line and D-line and they're the right guys, the whole vibe in the locker room's different. You have kind of that rugged team that you want. And, part of it for me is I don't think the ways that we won at Temple will help us win here. I don't think the ways that we won at Baylor will help us win here. I need to figure out how to win here. And the same core philosophies of this, there, but, I've been outside and felt the wind a couple of times. I walked out in the field yesterday when the turf was, when the college football playoff comes around in a couple of years and there's some home games I think they're going to do, all right, let's invite some teams to come up here and play us. So building a team that can win, and those are the things I learned from Coach Belichick and Mike Lombardi, build a team that can win in the environment that you're in, play football differently. And so that's been important to me. I think the O-line, D-line will win in these conditions.
And Evan, in this first go round with NIL for you, what did you find about its importance to recruits and your current players and how that can be an advantage for Nebraska?
Yeah, I think obviously at its face, every player, if I have a name, image, and likeness that can bring value to me, I would want to capitalize on and take advantage of it. So, I'm not working for free. You guys aren't working for free. We all want something if we can get it. That's the original intention of it. You could see it's being misused and mishandled at a lot of places. I just honestly, like I said this on TV earlier, so please forgive me, but I'm at a point in my life where I've kind of done some cool things. I like what I've done. I have a lot more I want to accomplish. My family's comfortable. I'm only coaching college football because I love this age group and I want to feel like I'm doing something in their lives and our staff's doing something in their lives. So I can't start that relationship off with lies. I can't start that relationship off saying, hey, I want to help you be the best man you can be, but let me go tamper with someone on someone else's roster and start it off by cheating, which is happening everywhere right now. It's saddening to me. As a guy that was in college football, to see what's happened to college football, I walk into a school, hey, you can't talk to that junior, and I follow all those rules, but someone can call a kid on my team and say, hey, if you get in the transfer portal, I'll give you. It's sad to me, but you're hearing a lot of coaches say that. That being said, I want it done the right way for our guys, and I don't get involved in it because even in the NFL, I didn't want players looking at me saying, well, why is he making this and you're making by rule, I can't be involved in it. I think we have a great setup here. I think the donors and people of Nebraska and the fans are going to do right by the kids and help them be great. I think the key for me is to make sure I recruit guys who want to be here, not who want to come for, the best NIL deal. I need to recruit guys who want to be here and want to be coached. And if I do that, I'll find the right guys. I hope that they make great opportunities for themselves and a lot of great connections. But I'm going to try to do it the right way. I don't want divisiveness in the locker room. I think we're all seeing what it looks like for teams when everyone's not getting what they're supposed to get, or everything's not fair. And I don't want that for our guys either. This age group of kids, those 18 to 22 in today's society, especially after COVID, you look at mental health issues and all these things, anxiety, depression. I mean, it's skyrocketing. It's scary. Now you throw in guys going to other schools, not this school, going to other schools. And hey, if you don't play well, your money goes down and you got to call your mom and say, we're just going to ruin kids. So I think NIL is awesome. Let me say that when done right, when done professionally. And I'm so thrilled with the setup here because like everything else, like true Nebraskans, they're going to do things the right way and to help kids, not to take advantage of kids.
Evan Bland, Omaha World Herald. Just big picture, how do you balance being a program that develops with the transfer pool and being able to take kids out of that? And maybe they don't have the same timeline.
Yeah. I think that's why one of the things I learned in the NFL is like, you have a guy for 1 year, you can do some things with him. I think it's just about taking the right guys from the transfer portal. We've taken some kids who have 3, 4. Now I'm so confused with COVID right now because there's COVID years and non-COVID years, but taking guys who have 3 or 4 years left, so you can still work with them for a long amount of time. What I don't want to do is moving forward, have a bunch of kids that fight in my program for 4 years. And then I just bring a 1-year guy in every year on top of them. If we need to, it's competition, but we want to get guys here for at least 2 years, 3 years, that's kind of the hope. But again, everything's on an individual basis. So, I think the NFL really helped me in terms of, hey, what kind of impact can we make on a guy in a year? And, I'm not here to toot our horn, but one of the things I think players, they're like, all right, well, I want to go to the NFL. A lot of the staff either played in the NFL or coached in the NFL, Coach Rule coached in the NFL. Like when you sit in draft meetings, it's not anything like what we think it is. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you listen to the NFL Network, it's awesome, but like they're talking about psychological studies. They're talking about background stuff. They're talking about medical reports. And so my hope is that our guys, people will want to be here at the end of their careers because we kind of went through all that. And as the personnel people are trying to find all the X's to X the guy off or downgrade him, we can help turn those X's into checks and say, no, we'll vouch for this kid on this, and this. And so that will help guys in the draft process. And I think that'll bring some transfers in. If we do a really good job in recruiting, though, hopefully, we have a bunch of high school kids here for a long time as well.
How much did you see guys make that developmental turn in 1 year? You just had them for 1 year in the NFL.
I think a lot of the guys who I've had that had like in college at Temple and Baylor, like the Hassan Reddicks and those guys, they did this, and all of a sudden it was the last year when they were really focused that they really made the turn. But I think we have, I had Curtis Samwin. Curtis is a great player, but we had some guys who just in 1 year play their best football, and so I come back to college football from the NFL way more focused, understanding what needs to be done for these guys from a football perspective. So hopefully we can help guys, even if we have them for 6 months, help them play their best football. Sorry, someone else.
Eddie with 1011 now here in Lincoln. You talked about getting guys to stay here in Lincoln. How big is it to get a guy like Malachi to stay?
Well, the biggest thing about Malachi is I just kind of really like him. You know what I'm saying? It's not really to me about, once everybody gets here, like, the stars go away and you're all just guys on the team. But I just really like Malachi. I like his family. I love his sister. I love the people around him. I love the people over at school, people at Lincoln East, so there wasn't a guy we recruited that I was like, boy, I don't know if I'm going to like this guy. Malachi's a really cool guy. He's obviously very talented, but he cares about others. You look at, you talk about NIL. He's donating things to foster care and to helping kids. And he's just really special in that regard. So to me, if I say that, our job with our staff is to make sure we make these guys' lives better, I love the fact that Malachi's goal in his life is to help make other people's lives better. And that's way more important to me than the 10-3 that he runs, though I think that's pretty cool too. So. Sure. Yeah.
How did you guys arrive at a player who's probably going to Arkansas?
Well, I'll just say this to you guys. Texas Tech, Joey McGuire, one of my best friends, James Blanchard, recruiting guy. We all come from the same tree. And so if you'll start seeing guys like Jalen Lloyd, you'll start seeing guys like Eric Fields who have Texas Tech and us because we have a system that we use, that we believe in. Eric Fields, I don't want to make promises. Everyone here is going to know who he is. He's an elite player, an excellent talent, fast, physical. I was talking to Danny Woodhead the other day. There's a big difference between great recruits and great players. Okay. Sometimes it's the same thing. And Malachi's the same thing. But there's a lot of guys who are really good recruits. There are a lot of guys who are really good players. Sometimes recruiting, how you're ranked, is really a function of what you were in 10th grade. You go to the camps, you're 6'3", 220. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm always looking for the kid that's kind of getting to be a senior, and I'm looking for him to take off. It's hard to do. We'll have a really good recruiting class next year. We'll be kind of close to full. This year was so much fun because we got to watch everyone's senior tape. It's the way Coach Osborne was able to do it, the way Coach Solich was able to do it, where they could watch guys' senior tape and see what kind of player they were. Then, everyone started offering kids in 9th grade, and it changed. This has been fun for me. But Fields, we watch tape all day long. Evan Cooper's the absolute best I've ever been around. If we ever offer a guy that no one's heard of, it's Evan, because he stays up at night and texts me at 3 o'clock in the morning watching this guy, watching that guy. And I think what you'll start to see is probably that we'll offer guys that no one's heard of, and then they'll start getting 10, 11, 12 offers, and their stars will bump up. And that's not disrespectful to anybody. It's just people will know that Coop goes and finds guys. And, we're not afraid to offer anybody. I don't care who we recruit them. If we think they're a fit, we're going to take them.
So Cooper, was he the one who watched tape of Fields?
Yeah. First, before I took the job, I kept calling him like, do you think this is the right fit for us? And he was like, Coach, take the job and then call Jalen Lloyd. Take the job and then call Jalen Lloyd. We're offering. So he knew this class. And I just want to say this to the kids in Nebraska who didn't come, because there's some that we really liked. I wish them all the best. To the guys signing Division II, Division III, playing college football is awesome. All we talk about now is all this other stuff. I mean, I coached at Albright College Division III. It was one of the best years of my life. So I'm excited for all the kids playing. But from Malachi to Gunnar to Brock to Maverick to all the guys to Tristan, we got to know a bunch of really cool kids in the state. I think it's going to be really fun moving forward. Sam Sledge.
All right, there it is. Matt Rule's first press conference as signing day. Guess we're fighting over the graphic now. Is it done? Is it not done? Is it done? Is it not done?
Done.
All right, a lot of things to react to. We'll try to do a little bit of that next, but we do have Mitch Holtis coming up. We'll get to him. Plenty more to come with Mike Schaefer.
Can't wait to talk to Shape. There were quite a few quotes in there that I know stood out to me, stood out to you. You have like 2 pages. You flip the page over.
Flip the page.
Just one thing before we go to break. There's a difference between great recruits and great players. That was in the last couple of minutes. I thought that was really, really, really good. And the other one, talking about all of the players on the team are now his guys. Breath of fresh air. Man.
Yeah.
Breath of fresh air.
That and NIL is evil and should be. No, he didn't,
he didn't
say that.
He didn't say that. I didn't say that.
He did not say that. But we will recap if you missed any of it and have more as we continue. It's Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Hey, it's Jan from Toyota, reminding you that Toyotathon is on and here to help make your holidays extra magical. How? Maybe it's driving in a Tacoma in search of the perfect hill to sled down. Popping from store to store in a Prius to find the perfect gift. You did it. How'd you know? Or it could be something much more simple, like surprising loved ones in a RAV4 hybrid.
You made it, Bobby! You're all grown up!
And seeing their faces light up when you pull up to their home. Stop by Toyotathon and make this holiday one to remember. It's the perfect opportunity to gather with your friends and family, both near and far.
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers on these vehicles end November 30th. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 3rd. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, or Baxter Toyota of La Vista.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Record inflation,
Even with the holidays right around the corner, it's still hammering the budgets of families in need all around the Omaha Metro. Help make Christmas happen for them by giving to the Salvation Army. When you donate, you keep the lights and heat on, put food on the table, and put presents under the tree for families that need it most. Join our effort to love beyond Christmas. Give to the Salvation Army now at omaharedkettle.org. That's omaharedkettle.org.
Hey everybody, it's Michael Severe for Ted and Wally's The Perfect Gift to be Given During the Giving Season. We're talking gift cards with the merchandise and so many great holiday flavors. And not just can you buy it there and eat it there, you can also take it home as well. You got pints, you got quarts, you got half gallons, all for the holiday season, and you'll make someone's day by giving them the gift of ice cream. Head over to Benson, location right next to Taste of New Orleans, or into the Old Market. Grab some gift cards, grab some to-go orders as well. And when you visit, of course, tell them Severe sent you.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $20.10 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/career. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
Holiday shopping? Backed by popular demand, stop by Kopp's at 72nd and Jones, Shadow Lake Town Center, or 180th and Center to grab a bite and buy a gift card. Kopp's gift cards are sure to please. Kopp's makes delicious pizza, fresh salad, and tasty charred wings with a variety of homemade sauces. They even offer keto crusts. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. Kopp's, now with 3 convenient locations to serve you. 72nd and Jones, the Shadow Lake Town Center, 180th and Center, or click koppspizza.com.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Winter storm warning in effect Wednesday afternoon in the metro. Expect a cloudy and cold morning, then light snow starting afternoon. Highs will top out in the low to mid 20s. Snow will pick up in the evening, and so will the winds as Arctic air surges in. Expect areas of snow and blowing snow through the night with 2 to 4 inches possible by Thursday morning. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
Funplex has a limited time offer that'll deck your halls. The Funplex 'Tis the Season Pass Sale. Save big through Christmas and think warm thoughts as you and yours dream about sun, fun, sliding and chilling for summer of 23. Not only will you be saving $45 off the regular price, but if you're doing your holiday math, 3 visits and the pass pays for itself. Plus, there's always special offers to season pass holders on concessions, merch, and more. The Funplex 'Tis the Season Pass Sale, now through Christmas at fun-plex.com.
From basketball to volleyball, baseball to softball, soccer, tennis, and so much more, the Creighton sports season is packed with action. The 1620 The Jays podcast, presented by Barry Law, covers it all. Each week, we visit with Blue Jay athletes and coaches to hear their stories and document their climb through the Big East Conference. The 1620 The Jays podcast drops each Friday morning and is found at 1620thezone.com and all major podcast platforms. Just search 1620 The Jays. Covering all things Creighton Blue Jays, it's the 1620 The Jays podcast, presented by Barry Law from 1620 The Zone.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
You ready?
The most exciting announcer in professional football.
Picked off at the goal line. 20, 15, 10, 5. Jalen Watson. Welcome to the Red.
Nobody can paint a picture with words quite like he can.
Will activate all 5 senses of your body. I think the rectal buzz that you get from the seat, maybe,
The man.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
The myth.
And the Chiefs Kingdom has firmly planted its flag on top of football's highest summit.
The legend of the Hy-Vee salad bar.
You want a chocolate? Guess where I'm right now? In the parking lot of the St. Joe Hy-Vee.
Mitch Holtis.
The Kansas City Chiefs are champions of Super Bowl 54.
Man, could this thing be any slower?
What are you doing?
It never loads this slowly.
You were freaking out.
I was about to. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. What happened last Sunday?
McKinnon, the single back. 3 receivers in a triangle to the left side. Mahomes hands it off to McKinnon, trying to dart left. 25-20, downfield block. 10-5, touchdown! Kansas City! Terrific run by Jerick McKinnon to win the game in overtime on a 26-yard run. And the Kansas City Chiefs have won the AFC West for a 7th consecutive year.
And that's how it sounded on Sunday. A very exciting win in overtime. Mitch Holtis, the voice of the Chiefs, brought to you by Hy-Vee, joins us. Hello, Mitch.
Hi, Mitch.
Hello, boys. I thought maybe you'd also play the Willie Gay Jr. Checking for prostate when he got the ball away from Dare Agumbawale. As Kevin Lockett said on Monday night on the Chiefs Kingdom show, he took one for the team, did Willie Gay Jr. A lot of tunnels under those piles, KF gang. And
did he get Ben
Willie Gay
Cotton?
Jr. gave a public service announcement. Go get your prostate checked. And of course, Twitter went crazy with that. One guy goes, "Hey, I'm going to get a colonoscopy in February. Is Willie Gay available?" So that he got that ball, boys.
Was that Ben Cotton against Texas A&M? The infamous.
Oh yeah,
yeah. When
when
Gerard Eddy, God, I can't remember his full name now, from Texas A&M, basically just reached in there, and then Ben Cotton started kicking his legs,
and Cotton got the penalty.
They threw a flag on Ben Cotton. That was the game where it was like 15-2. Texas A&M got 2 penalties. Nebraska got 15. Yeah, nasty things go on in piles. Very nasty, disgusting things.
But to go, as Lockett even said in the discussion Monday night on the Kingdom show, he went in a dark place to get it, but he got it nonetheless. And so that set up the McKinnon run for the touchdown, and that 7th straight AFC West title, 2nd in NFL history. Crazy, tying the 73-79.
Los Angeles Rams.
And I told you, Mitch, last week, I told you, Houston, tough team.
Oh,
tough.
stop it.
You got to throw out the record when you
Stop
play
it.
Houston. This is a tough team, Mitch.
Well, I'm telling you, though, back up, boys. They had the Eagles 21-17 in the fourth quarter. We know what they did against the Cowboys the week before.
Oh, Mitch, you don't have to do this to feed Josh.
Yes, we do. The Titans, I mean,
Thank you, Mitch.
They're so close, but this is one time, John, you need to stand down, buddy. Let Josh just do his thing.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you.
Oh, would you like to go ahead and talk about the good news about Jalen Hurts not practicing today, smiling boy?
Good news. No, it's sad news. I want to see a full, healthy team.
No. John, you know this. It's not the dog on Christmas vacation. Got a little Mississippi Leghorn in it. Just let Josh do his thing. It'll be
Great reference.
Tremendous reference.
Great reference. So what was it? Because it's funny. The Chiefs tied their season high in rushing yards. Of course, Patrick Mahomes had an amazingly accurate day for a guy who threw
straight completions.
41 completions. Yet the game was just so close. It's one of those games where the stats would tell you that Kansas City should have walked in this one, but it ended up in overtime.
Turnovers. The Chiefs had over 2-1 in total offense, and Mahomes hit 20 passes in a row. 20, if you're keeping track in Council Bluffs. But it's the turnovers, and it's been biting the Chiefs. 21 giveaways, still -6 in the giveaway takeaway, and you're 11-3. That usually does not add up, but the Chiefs have got to get that flipped around here in the next 3 weeks going into the playoffs. But seriously, it's turnovers the last 2 weeks. If Mahomes doesn't throw the pick I mentioned to you last week, in the first pick in the Denver game, that's going to be a route. That opened the door, and Denver playing with confidence, like shoved it in, let's go. And you just kept Houston in the game and gave them the ball at the 17-yard line. So that's got to go away for this Chiefs team to get where they want to go starting this Saturday, I should say.
Mitch, current concern level with Harrison Butker, and I wonder how much you think of it's mental versus physical, obviously with the injury this year.
Yeah, I don't want to be wishy-washy. It's almost 50-50. I think the injury is better, but I think one kind of led to the other. I think the fact that he was kicking with that ankle injury so long that it maybe threw off his mechanics. It's almost like in golf where you got some physical ailment and you're trying to back injury or something. You're trying to compensate for it, and it throws your swing off. It tells me that it was mostly mental now when he kind of overdrove the PAT and then left the other missed field goal open. So it's missing left once and then right once. And if they were all left, you would think it was mechanics, but it's not. So I do think it's mental, but I think he can get back on track. And you got to snap it, you got to hold it, you got to protect it, but he just needs to get in the groove. We know he can.
We heard the highlight, Jerick McKinnon with the walk-off. Is it possible he could be entering the playoffs the second most valuable Chief on offense? No offense to Travis Kelce, but what McKinnon seems to bring from a playmaking standpoint, and it's been a Chiefs rushing attack that's been hit and miss all season long. It almost seems like he could be in store for a really big role come the postseason.
Which he was actually last year as well.
Yeah.
That's when this is about the time he started to hit it and was making an impact. It's still Mahomes 1, Kelce 2, and maybe tied for third with Juju Smith-Schuster.
Okay.
I think Juju's right in there. There's only 4 teams in the NFL that have 2 receivers with 70-plus yard receptions going into this week. Seattle's one of the 4. The Chiefs are another one of them with Juju. But McKinnon's right there, I think, with Juju Smith-Schuster. And he does, John, to your point, he's been so good in protection, good at running, good, if not great, in receiving. And I mentioned he's going to make a decision in a split second to make an open field block if Mahomes decides to run and not get a block in the back or some weird penalty.
Mitch, you just mentioned Seattle. Obviously, given your responsibilities on Sundays, you're super in the weeds with KC. So I don't know how much of a chance you had to see them early in the year, but they certainly have not been what they were in September and October lately. What has most changed as you dive into Seahawks football from that really hot start to a team now that's just fighting for their playoff lives?
Some of it's protection. Right now, Geno Smith is the NFL's Renaissance man. Here's a weird stat. He went 6 years, you guys, and played in only 15 games. And when I say played, it was kneel downs or blowouts. He basically did not play for 6 years. And this year, he leads the NFL in completion percentage at 71%. But they've had there's some hidden yards here with these guys, and they've had a hard time protecting him. He has been sacked 3+ times in each of the last 5 games. And that's not good. So they're losing yards. And then the run game with Kenneth Walker III, the rookie of Michigan State, in his first 4 starts was averaging 100 yards per game running the ball. In the last 4, he is averaging 30 yards. So it's not happening in the run game, not happening in the protection game. And now this week they won't have Tyler Lockett, who's still one of the best 3 or 4 route runners I've ever seen at any level of football. And they still have DK Metcalf, but not having Tyler Lockett's a big deal because the Seahawks, that's the 2 receivers that I alluded to earlier. When there's only 4 teams with 2 receivers of 70-plus catches, the Chiefs are 1, the Seahawks are another of the 4.
And I don't want to make it sound like, well, we should have seen this one coming because we really shouldn't have. But last year on a Thursday night, week 5, Russell injures his hand on Aaron Donald's helmet, gets knocked out of the game.
Geno played well.
Geno came into the game. The Rams were winning the game, and Geno nearly brought them back. And when you look at the 3 games that followed, all starts, he ended up going 5-1 touchdown interception, completed 68% of his passes, and had a rating of 103 in a small sample size, albeit. But there was a glimpse last year when he was actually given a chance to do more than just kneel downs, that maybe there was something in there. So I guess what I'm saying, Mitch, is maybe we should have seen something coming.
Especially in a quarterback-starved league. We're sitting with 32 teams. How many are just starving for a quarterback? Now, to back up your point even further, when you look at what Geno has done this year, he is number 1 of any quarterback in the NFL with his passer rating on passes of 21-plus yards in the air is 127.1. That's the best in the league. Better than Mahomes, better than Herbert, just down the line, better than Josh Allen. And some of that is DK Metcalf. A lot of that is Tyler Lockett. But still, did anybody see this coming from Geno Smith? Maybe you did with that glimpse of the game against the Rams. But, this guy is indeed a Renaissance guy. He's had 11 games with multiple TD passes. He's too shy of the Seattle record. To put that in comparison, Mahomes has 10. Here's Geno with 11 of them. So he's been accurate. He's accurate on deep throws. He can still run the ball. He's been very effective running it 58 times. And so, Geno Smith is real dangerous in this game.
Also dangerous in this game will be the weather. It will be cold,
Oof.
as we all know around here. Now, it'll be
not as cold in Kansas
a
City.
warm front moving through.
Yeah, it'll be warmer in Kansas City with feel-like temperatures in the single digits below zero.
Nice. Not 40 degrees below zero.
For Saturday, but it does present a challenge, and you talked about it earlier, Mitch, with the turnover issues. How do you think the Chiefs will be handling the cold against a team from the Pacific Northwest who doesn't see this kind of weather?
Well, think about, the Chiefs are in spread a lot. They're in shotgun a lot, in more than Radley Seattle is. But just that 3 to 5 yard shotgun snap from Creed Humphrey. Then the ball snapped to Mahomes. He has to rotate the ball to get his hand placement right. That all happens within a fraction of a second. Then you throw the ball, and then the guy's got to catch the ball. And then once he catches the ball, he's got to hang on to the ball. I was telling you, these turnovers, the 21 giveaways the Chiefs have had this year, 10 have resulted in touchdowns, and most of them have happened after positive plays. I was looking at this. One was the 14th play of the drive. The Chiefs have gone 80 yards. Another's 9th play, 66. 12th play, 71. 6th play, 41. So even if you can get the snap, get the pass, get the catch, you better protect it even after a positive game, because Seattle's sitting here with 21 takeaways. So the weather does factor in here, because the thing is, you're going to be holding, an ice cube or the old ice block they used to have in the ice houses, and you're trying to run down the field with it. And then the run game has got to be there for the Chiefs. Seattle is not good against the run. They're next to last. Houston's last. The Seahawks, who have been this opportunistic young defense. You guys have seen him. Tarek Woolen's a stud, 6'4", 210 and 6 picks. But against the run, these guys have just been getting bludgeoned. The 5 straight games, they've allowed 160-plus yard rushing yards. That is tied for the longest streak in the last 25 seasons. And if the Chiefs can get to that mark this week, it'll be since the 95 Cardinals, since a team has done that in consecutive weeks. So you would hope the Chiefs could get a lot in the running game with McKinnon and Pacheco.
It will be noon on Saturday. Saturday is the new Sunday, kind of.
When Christmas is on a Sunday, it means Saturday is Sunday.
Something like that.
It is this week, boys.
That's right.
So I usually talk to you on a Wednesday, but it's a Thursday.
That's true.
That is true.
Wednesdays are the new Thursdays, which means tomorrow's Friday. See you later.
Got it. Bye.
Well, with all the snow that's coming up
that's
here,
true.
We're all going to treat it that way.
That's true.
Well, Mitch, stay warm. Enjoy. Merry Christmas to you.
Mm-hmm.
We will actually be off next week. We're doing the best of crossover show, so we'll talk to you in
2023, Mitch.
In 2 weeks.
No Denver rematch show. We'll just have to let our imagination go with that one. But,
well, we'll let you and Stibbs talk it out.
This game, because people go, "Oh, you'll be up there in the warmth." Well, I'm beating the drum. I'm the guy that got, always at the beginning of the game to get the crowds fired up. So there is a chance I will beat the drum. A lot of my stuff will be recorded so I can do that, but I may call the first series from the upper deck.
No.
Minus 21 shoot. Yep.
Really?
Yep. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
That's worth listening to.
Yeah.
Just so we can hear Mitch go, I can't see what's happening. It's too high up here.
I can't see her talk. Okay, talk a little more. Then I put my tongue up
good luck with
against
your
the
mouth.
Yeah, do not put your tongue on the flagpole.
Yes.
Do not do that.
Some jackwagon will dare me, and I'll do it, and I'll be in big problems.
Bad times. Bad times. Triple dog dare.
Okay, Mitch, we'll talk to you in a couple weeks. Merry Christmas.
See you, boys. Probably the first time in show history that Josh has been referenced as a Mississippi legend.
Yet.
We'll see if we can get a second sometime.
We'll work on that the rest
Bye,
of the
Mitch.
show. Mitch Holtis, the voice of the Chiefs, brought to you by Hy-Vee, official grocery partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. That would be wild. He's up there hanging on.
That sounds horrible. That sounds horrible.
And then the wind is just like, no thanks.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, I
no, thank you.
I would not do that.
I'll stay inside.
I would not do that. All right. Mike Schaefer still to come. We'll quick do a reset and a recap, our thoughts on what we heard from Matt Rule before we get to Schaefer. So stay right there. Also, Dumb Debates. Keep sending in your Dumb Debates.
Yeah.
Use the hashtag Dumb Debates on Twitter, JTech Construction Zone Twitter page at USC1620, or email your Dumb Debates to John at 1620thezone.com or Josh at 1620thezone.com. It's the Equitable Bank inbox. But friends, when the holidays are here, that means Santa's coming down your chimney.
Santa!
Now, he also looks like a former power forward for the Philadelphia 76ers. Yes, it's Santa Barkley.
And
He's
Houston
giving-
Rockets.
And yeah, but I like to think of him as a Sixer.
And the Phoenix Suns.
I know, but I like to think of
All right,
Santa
all right,
Barkley.
all right.
I mean, Santa Barkley can be a Rocket to you. He's a Sixer to me.
That works with the red.
With the red. Well,
And
the
the
Rockets
blue?
were red too.
That's
They had
true.
some red.
Yeah.
And the
Suns
Suns
a
were
little
like
orange,
orangey.
purple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
It snows in Philadelphia. It doesn't snow in Phoenix.
Good call.
But Santa Barkley is ready to give new FanDuel customers exactly what they asked for. Unwrap the gift of a no-sweat first bet up to $2,500 back in free bets when you sign up using promo code 1620. That's up to $2,500 back if your first bet doesn't win. So remember, with the games all happening earlier this week, you'll want to get signed up sooner so that instead of engaging Aunt Betty on, her usual political conversation on Christmas Day,
gross.
you can be placing bets on the Packers and the Lions, or Packers and the who are they playing? The Dolphins, that team.
There you
It's
go,
gotta be
Nick's
your-
team.
It's got to be your bowl. But go to FanDuel, use our promo code 1620.
Plus, John, we got a Thursday night game tomorrow between the Jets and the obviously very, very good and tough Jacksonville Jaguars. Got the full slate on Christmas Eve, including my beloved Dallas Cowboys versus the obvious Super Bowl champions this year, the Philadelphia Eagles, and a whole lot more. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. Put in that promo code, like John said, 1620, and get in on the holiday spirit with Santa Barkley and that no sweat first bet for up to $2,500. Get it back in free bets. If you lose, you get it back from Santa Barkley. One more time, that promo code 1620. 21 plus and present in Iowa. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
He's back. Old Man Winter has arrived. If you notice the cold air leaking through your home's windows, give J-Tech Construction a call for a free estimate. Keep winter cold outdoors where it belongs. Let the official exterior experts of the Huskers, J-Tech Construction, upgrade you to triple pane replacement windows and start saving money on your energy bills. The cold doesn't have to mean higher heating costs. Get all the details by going to yourexteriorexperts.com. J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
Last year, I enrolled my family for health care coverage through the health insurance marketplace. Do I need to enroll again?
Yes, we have seen the plans available through the marketplace change, and new options may be available. You must re-enroll for 2023 to ensure you or your family are in the right plan for your budget and needs. One World Community Health Centers in Omaha can help. Just call 402-502-8888 to set up an appointment with a team member.
I don't have health coverage, and I'm worried that if I get sick, I can't afford the medical bills. How do I get started?
Getting started is easy and free. Just call to set up an appointment with a Navigator enrollment specialist. We will explain your coverage options, answer any questions, help you enroll, and see if you qualify for financial assistance. Open enrollment is November 1st through January 15th. Re-enroll in healthcare coverage or enroll for the first time. Call One World Community Health Centers at 402-502-8888 to set up an appointment.
Hey, it's Jan from Toyota, reminding you that Toyotathon is on and here to help make your holidays extra magical. How? Maybe it's driving in a Tacoma in search of the perfect hill to sled down. Hopping from store to store in a Prius to find the perfect gift. You did it! How'd you know? Or it could be something much more simple, like surprising loved ones in a RAV4 hybrid.
You made it, Bobby! You're all grown up!
And seeing their faces light up when you pull up to their home. Stop by Toyotathon and make this holiday one to remember. It's the perfect opportunity to gather with your friends and family, both near and far.
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers on these vehicles end November 30th. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 3rd. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, or Baxter Toyota of La Vista.
Buy your next vehicle your way from anywhere with Woodhouse. Start your journey online at woodhouse.com. Easily shop all new and pre-owned inventory, explore payment options and apply for financing. Ready to purchase? Schedule your new vehicle for pickup from the dealership or have it delivered to your driveway. Need a little extra help in determining your perfect vehicle? Our knowledgeable and local dealerships can guide you to the vehicle that best matches your needs. Experience car buying your way with Woodhouse, a trusted auto partner since 1975.
Duck Defense Midwest makes your home healthier and improves the life of your HVAC system. So improve the health of your home and everyone in it. Go to cleanairradio.com for a special duct cleaning offer for Zone listeners. That's cleanairradio.com.
Here's this week's Maverick Minute. In their final non-conference game of the season, the Maverick men's basketball team was down 67-45 by Northern Colorado last Friday night. The Omaha men officially end their non-conference slate at 5-6. The Omaha baseball team has officially released its spring schedule. They'll play 25 home games at Tal Anderson Field for the 2023 season. And that's your Maverick Minute on your home for the Mavs. News Talk 1290, 1180 The Zone, and 1620 The Zone. Here's an opportunity for business-to-business salespeople. NRG Media is looking for someone who gets excited about helping local businesses grow. Are you an idea person who can create and execute a plan? We should talk. At NRG Media, we create local marketing campaigns designed to meet a key challenge. On air, online, on-site, audio, video. It's all part of what you could do. A sales career with NRG lets you make a real difference. Business-to-business salespeople? Apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for Head.
This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone.
Mike Shaver coming up in a few as we try to recap what is happening today. I assume, is it done? Is it done? That's the other thing, too, is you've got all of these transfer players who are also committing on the same day. They don't have to commit today. There's no deadline for them in the moment.
For who, the portal guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's happening too.
Mm-hmm.
The number, according to 24/7 Sports, is now up to 21 players. Nebraska's overall class rank is 29th, according to 24/7's composite.
How about this email that I got from Chris earlier today? Money Chris. Holy smokes, it'd be a huge win for Rule if he could somehow finish in the top 25. I am impressed. It's as good as it is no matter where it finishes, but this is impressive, right? Not trying to oversell, but this is better than expected, right? Question mark. Yeah, it is. I can't believe that they were able to turn that pile of goo into, oh, what's up? I see the negative face again.
No.
From
I'm
John.
just hold on. I'm just looking here.
It's the negative top face 30 on the 24/7 composite.
You just said the word goo. That's what kind of
yeah. Last that I saw, they were like 27th or 28th, somewhere in there on the team rankings page.
They're 29th, according to this. Well, FYI, Scott Frost transition class was 23rd.
Yeah, but Scott Frost, bad coach. Matt Rule,
I
not
understand.
a bad coach.
I understand that, but that's why I'm not. If it sounds like I'm poo-pooing it, fine. But I mean, this is kind of where Nebraska's been, and they've had transition classes that have done well.
I know, but I thought this one wasn't going to do that.
Well, the thing to me, and I was glad to hear it being reinforced there towards the end.
My guys
was about, it definitely sounds like Matt Rule is going to continue to follow the blueprint that he established elsewhere when it comes to recruiting. He's going to look for his types of players.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about Eric Fields, the linebacker that they got that committed today. He talked about Evan Cooper and how he's the type of guy, Evan Cooper, the new defensive backs coach, get used to it, who, is the type of guy who finds, these diamonds in the rough. And he said, we're going to offer some guys that other teams are going to come in on later because Coop will go out and
find them
and discover them because that's what his MO is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the plan that they've used, and that's the plan they're going to use. And he's not looking at the transfer portal as heavily. Now, he does have 6 players in the portal, but I don't know if they will go much higher than that. I mean, I like the fact that, hey, this is
I still think they're going to have more.
I don't think they're going to have much more. And I would prepare for not seeing a lot more in future years. I really think he's going to lean hard into finding his types of 4-year players, getting them in, selling them on the program, keeping them in the program, and building them up from there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the message. That's one of the messages I took away. So I'm not so much wrapped up in if, hey, they're 29th instead of, 47th. It doesn't matter to me because as we've seen in the past, the recruiting rankings really haven't mattered much when it comes to the actual finish.
But,
what
John,
Matt Rule is going to be able to do to help make the recruiting rankings match the finish, that's more important.
Well, and if you believe, we talk about all the time, if you believe in coaching, you'd rather have better players than worse players, because if you believe in the development, I'd rather have a player ranked whatever versus a player ranked low.
Right, but
and that's all I'm trying to say.
Right.
I just didn't think that they were going to be able to put together a class this solid in year one. My not even year one. They've been on the job for 4 weeks. I had a really low bar, and they way cleared that low bar that I had.
But
so that's all I'm trying to say.
It's probably fair to assume that if there's going to be a high volatility number, it'll come out of this class because they've only had 24 days.
Sure, of course. I'm not disagreeing.
I'm not. I mean, great. It's 29th. Great. I don't really care about that. I like what I heard today.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like the formula that he's come up with, the formula that he's worked with.
Formula?
No. And some of the other things, and as far as some of the other things he said, and I've got so much
copious notes.
I got so much here, but he talked about Jeff Sims, the transfer quarterback from Georgia Tech, said he fell in love with him early on, was already sold on him. He said folks recognize he has NFL talent.
He was really high on Jeff Sims.
Yeah.
Really high on Jeff Sims.
And he made the point that I didn't go looking for a transfer quarterback. I went looking for Jeff Sims.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think there's a difference there.
Yeah.
Also interesting in saying that, he's not married necessarily to running the 3-3-5.
Yeah, I have that written down too. He says, we're not going to bring in our defense and say, you guys have to fit it. We're going to get the best players possible. And so
he's into, I just want to go out and get the best players possible. And then he made mention of, well, players are going to change positions, right? So he's not necessarily looking at, well, we got to have 4 linebackers in this class. We got to have 6 defensive linemen in this class, that. He's going to go out and recruit the best. Obviously, he's not going to under-recruit a position.
Yeah.
But he's more interested in just getting great talent and bringing them in. And then the defense, and I assume he probably also means the offense, will be tailored around the skills that they have.
Mm-hmm. Shank Ping Appreciation Club. Why is John downplaying our 15th consecutive offseason championship? This is our culture, John. Love it or leave it.
That's what I'm trying to get rid of. I want to be off-season losers and regular season champs.
So let's talk about Donnie Raiola, because that was, I think, what the takeaway is going to be for a lot of people. Mark says Rule had some interesting things to say about the O-line and Raiola. I mean, look, it's pretty obvious that he had heard some of the outside, conversations about. I mean, that's the one hire I think that there was frustration from.
Yes.
Because we said it about everyone else. I have to go to the Wikipedia pages and read articles about Tony White, Marcus Satterfield, everybody, but we all had thoughts. We were predisposed to having positions, positive or negative, about Raiola. And in the end, I would say that it was actually more mixed than leaning negative or leaning positive. What I guess I heard, John, was that he thought, and this is paraphrasing, but also taking what he said and putting my own thoughts on it. Rule was Raiola was put in a bad spot last year. I think that he believes that he can mold this guy. The quote that he had about Satterfield and how Satterfield has coached offensive linemen. And so sometimes coordinators, they put these plays together and they call plays and they're not ever thinking about that position group and how tough it is. I thought that was pretty telling. And he mentioned the guy was coming to work. One of the things that I heard over the last month was that he was the only leftover coach from the previous staff that was actually still coming in, even when he didn't have a job. He was still coming in. And I think that stood out to Matt Rule. Look, I still have my thoughts on it, but he obviously believes that Donovan Raiola, can do a really good
and
job.
you also heard there at the end when he was talking about just his passion for coaching line play.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Oh, well, I'll watch the other groups, but I really like being with the offensive and the defensive linemen."
Mm-hmm.
and he lets his other coaches coach. And so this idea of Satterfield and Rule kind of being there working with Raiola on the offensive line. I mean, he did. I'm with you. I'm still not sold that it's a great decision, but he did as good a job as I thought he could to sell why he kept him.
Yes, he did.
And we will see. I've never said Donovan Raiola is a bad offensive line coach. I don't know if he's a bad offensive line coach.
Because he was dealt a pretty crappy hand last year.
My biggest objection is for that position group, he's not experienced at this level. And that was my main objection last year, and it's my main objection this year. But if Rule sees something in him that he can work with and makes and helps him become a great offensive line coach, it's going to end up being a win-win.
And going off of what I just said, I mean, look, there's a lot of coaches that have, lack of experience up and down this coaching staff right now. But Raiola's the one that you and I and all of us watched his position group at this program last year. So if he was an outside hire, oddly enough, I think it probably would have been better received. A couple other things I had circled. Talking about the inherited players and showing up in January with a blank slate. The paraphrase, the quote was, "Show me what you can do, not what you've done." Mm-hmm.
So he says, everyone's starting with a blank slate. It's not as much what you did for me in the past. Show me what you can do.
Yep.
Starting in January, of course, referring to winter conditions.
And kind of an offshoot of that, this was near the end too. There's a difference between great recruits and great players. And really, I would say, John, that kind of fits with how we began this segment. And you can have your rankings, and I believe in rankings in terms of telling us who can win a national championship. But there is a difference between how good a player was and how good a player can be. Because that's what this is about. This is not about being an all-state player as a sophomore. This isn't about being an all-American high school player as even a junior. What can you do in 3 years? That's more important to Nebraska than the accolades and the trophies that these kids have on, in their living rooms at home. It's about what you can do at college. So I thought that was a nice way to describe it. You can be a great recruit and turn into a bad player, just like you can be a great draft prospect going into the pros and not have much of a career.
Well, he mentioned that in a way, this transition class might actually be more beneficial because he likes to look at senior film. He said a lot of these recruits with the high rankings, they got them when they were in 10th grade, right? Well, things obviously change over time. And being able to come in and essentially just look at their most recent film and not have this, built-in image going back, 3-4 years might actually be an advantage. We'll see. I still believe that the transition class is always going to be the most volatile, and I wouldn't be surprised if this one had the most turnover of the next few years, just because that's typically what happens. But again, Matt Rule made some interesting selling points on how he was able to assemble this thing as quickly as he did. All right, coming up, more on this with Mike Schaefer, recruiting analyst for Husker 24/7 Sports on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center, we've got some slow-going traffic right now on Center Road in between 108th and 72nd Streets, as well as slowdowns all along Dodge, but more specifically in between 90th and 72nd Street. Also, keep an eye out if you're going west on Dodge right now. There is utility work going on in the right lane on Dodge at Rose Blumkin, as well as on Dodge in between 35th and 32nd Street in those westbound lanes. As those temperatures get colder, remember to keep that extra following distance and wear those seatbelts. I'm Dan Campanen.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Fernando's Omaha.
Help someone on your Christmas list get their Fernando's fix with Fernando's gift cards. Buy $100 and get a $20 gift card for yourself. Only at 75th and Pacific or 114th and Dodge. Hurry, offer ends soon. Feliz Navidad from Fernando's. FernandosOmaha.com.
Email any of our shows anytime into the Equitable Bank inbox. At Equitable, we take banking personally. For me, John at 1620thezone.com. The Equitable Bank inbox from 1620 The Zone.
This is Scott Schultz from Host Coffee. 2022 marks our 50th year and business has never been better. We continue to grow and add new customers. Many employers are looking for new ideas for their staff as people return to the office. Our pantry service is a great office amenity for staff and guests. Fresh food, snacks, coffee, water, and other beverages for employees and guests. Enhance your office experience with pantry service from Host Coffee. Learn more at hostcoffee.net.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
This message is for the guy who isn't perfect in the bedroom. And let's be honest, who is? Maybe the issue is getting it up or keeping it up, or maybe it's finishing too soon. If any of these performance hiccups sound familiar to you, don't sweat it. Hims can help. At 4hims.com, you can go online and get clinically proven prescription medication that treats these issues prescribed for you, if appropriate, by licensed medical providers. And the medication is shipped free to your door in discreet packaging. Plus, Hims gives you unlimited follow-up visits with medical providers. No one's perfect in the bedroom every time, but with Hims, you can get a lot closer than before. And chances are, your partner will agree.
To get started today, go to 4hims.com/perfect. That's 4hims.com/perfect for your free visit. FORHIMS.com/PERFECT.
Want to know what CBDs and Kratom can do for you? Then stop by any 42 Degrees location. Talk to our knowledgeable and friendly staff and see why we are the source for all your Kratom and CBD needs. 42 Degrees, by your mom's house.
Holiday shopping? Back by popular demand, stop by Cops at 72nd and Jones, Shadow Lake Town Center, or 180th and Center to grab a bite and buy a gift card. Cops gift cards are sure to please. Cops makes delicious pizza, fresh salad, and tasty charred wings with a variety of homemade sauces. They even offer keto crusts. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. Cops, now with 3 convenient locations to serve you. 72nd and Jones, the Shadow Lake Town Center, 180th and Center, or click copspizza.com.
Cubby's supports the PACE program with Raise Some Dough. For every large pizza sold at Cubby's in the Old Market, Cubby's gives $1 to the Police Athletic League, serving at-risk and disadvantaged inner-city children with athletic and educational programs. PACE has over 5,800 program participants. The league reaches kids that would not normally be able to participate in athletics like soccer and baseball due to financial situations and family dynamics. PACE wants to give every kid the opportunity at athletics and a healthy and safe environment. If you'd like to support PACE too, go to paceomaha.org.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Greeting, Earthlings. We have now taken over your radio.
Mike Schaefer.
See, I would argue, because I like to argue, we all underestimated how hard it is to, 1, win college football games, and 2, transition and take over a program.
Mike Schaefer.
I was trying to kindly tell Mr. Bishop the Vikings have a chance to surprise some people, and I think that they could even win the division.
Mike Schaefer.
It doesn't seem like the kind of book where they would be hooked on meth. That got dark.
Mike Schaefer.
All right, the fax machine is now in just embers right now, just smoldering embers.
Oh,
It's
wow.
been so busy today, but I think it's finally done working. It better be, because it's now useless. But one person who's not useless, certainly not to us, is Mike Schaefer of Husker247.com. Hello, Shafe.
How you doing, gentlemen?
Good.
So initial thoughts on what you heard, generally speaking, from Matt Rule about an hour or so ago.
Yeah, it was an interesting recruiting press conference. So press conference always fascinate me, because I think most of the time they're largely spent on other team items that aren't necessarily recruiting, but he did give quite a bit of insight to kind of his thought process, and he certainly dropped some breadcrumbs for some 2024s that they happen to be listening. And, I kind of find myself sort of thinking his press conferences are going to be sort of interesting to cover in a way that is not normal around Lincoln, or hasn't been under the previous 3 coaches, where, he might be answering one thing, but he's really saying something else entirely. And so, I found it pretty interesting, and like I said, he hit on a variety of topics, both recruiting and with the team. So it was a nugget-filled one as well.
Shafe, John and I talked a little bit last segment where I was kind of like shocked that the class was able to climb into the top 30. And I don't want to put words in John's mouth, but he was more, look, they're always a top 30, top 25 recruiting program, even in the transition class under Frost, maybe not as much to write home about. I wonder how you view this, given where the class sat but a few weeks ago versus, where it ended up today.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways it could have went. And I'm generally of the mind of that John had there, where my expectation is for Nebraska to be a top 30 recruiting class every year. It's going to be, to me, if they can ever really threaten to be a top 15, or we're really going to get the crazy top 10 class, and then that's when you're going to see some seismic jumps for Nebraska football. But I do think these transition classes are harder now than ever. And you could look at some other places where there was coaching changes, and they did not have near the sort of success that Matt Rule and his group had in terms of going out and both finding the guys like Eric Fields, who he absolutely gushed about when given the chance, and then also finding, a guy like Prince Umamielen, who is a top 247 defensive player that they went and plucked out of Texas, that seemingly could have went to, any school he really wanted to, but he took the approach differently and he really fit with Nebraska. And so I think you get examples of the upside of what they can do in recruiting in a short amount of time, but also it showed off just what they are in terms of evaluators. And so it's kind of an interesting class for those reasons, but where it landed didn't ultimately surprise me, because like John, that's sort of where I expect Nebraska is going to be year in and year out.
Elijah Judy, not a member of the recruiting class, but a member of the Hall of the so far 6 transfer portal players. This one's obviously big considering his previous stop and his previous recruiting acumen, having been a 4-star commit. What more do we know about Judy and why this was a good spot for him?
Yeah, Elijah Judy works as a really good example for why Nebraska fans might get excited about Terrence Knighton pretty early, because if he coaches to the level that he's shown recruiting, then that's a pretty exciting thing for a defensive line coach. I think he's really been able to hit it off, whether it was Elijah Judy, or Prince Will, or Riley Van Poppel, or Vincent Carroll Jackson, the kid out of Pennsylvania. I mean, I think he's able to connect with guys because he's not that old. He's in his mid-30s. And he's able to connect with younger players. He played in the NFL. And he had a brutally honest conversation with Elijah Judy, which was, look, you might think that you're a defensive end, but your best route into the NFL is going to be a 3-tech. And look, I'm a guy that had to do that. I've been in your shoes. I understand this. I know what it's like to have to play these kind of positions, and I know what it's like to play in the NFL. And so I'm telling you, this is what they're going to be looking for. And that honest assessment really kind of, jump-started the relationship with Judy and Knighton. And I think having a guy who's been where these players want to go can be really helpful, because he can be kind of blunt. Like, you're not a flashy defensive end. You're not, you're not Daniil Hunter or one of these guys that's going to come off the edge. You're 295 pounds. You're 6'3". Your route to the NFL is right up the middle. And that's where we want you to play. And I think that in itself is probably fresh air for some of these guys who, hear what they want to hear a lot of times. And for Knighton to basically say, look, you're going to go to the NFL, you're going to do it this way. And we think we can help you get there. And we're going to play in a, multiple front defense that you can have a couple different looks, but ultimately you're a 3-tech. I think that's a really big thing for Nebraska, to have a coach that's, 1, willing to do that, 2, can connect with kids enough that they're willing to listen.
Shape, what's the story with Eric Fields? He was talked about a little bit today from Matt Rule. I mean, you throw on his highlight video on 24/7 Sports, you watch a minute of it, and it's easy to get really excited for the athleticism and the speed that he brings at that linebacker position. But I guess I don't know if I want to use the term gush. He certainly spent a little bit more time talking about him, though, than he did a lot of other players.
Yeah, I would use the term gush, because as far as football coaches go, what he did up there was the equivalent of kind of gushing about a kid. And he basically told those listening at home, like, this is someone we have high expectations for. And it doesn't matter to us that nobody else was really recruiting him. beyond Texas Tech and Arkansas State, we see something there. And he's a 6'2", 195-pound linebacker that you put on the film. He's just flying around and hitting. And, Brunt, my co-host, cohort, Michael Brunt, who's on your show on Tuesdays.
A guy.
He is really kind of dug into this. And Eric Fields kind of just fell through the cracks. Like, he didn't get a lot of playing time until his senior year. He didn't do a lot with the 7-on-7 team that had other guys going to D1 schools. And so he wasn't a particularly well-known individual going into the senior year. And Matt Rule kind of touched on that. He said that it was sort of fun that some of what they did over the last few weeks was just get to watch senior film, which is not something you do a lot in recruiting anymore. And on that senior film, they saw a guy in Eric Fields that flashed for them in a way that a lot of guys' film hadn't, previously. And so he became a big priority, despite the fact we're talking about Nebraska recruiting up against Arkansas State, and Texas Tech was very much of them.
Malachi Coleman, today we're celebrating VD Day, victory over Dion. Malachi, the highest rated player in the state. What does it tell you? Here was a kid who decommitted. We thought, this was the player that Mickey mentioned by name, in the press conference. It was like, it seemed like, Malachi was all in on Mickey. What does it tell you that in 24 days, Matt Rule was able to, get Coleman back into the fold and fight off a Coach Prime, who certainly as a young kid, you have to imagine a lot of young players have stars in their eyes and go, oh, I have a chance to play for Coach Prime. I can be part of his Louis. Instead, he'd rather be a part of the Huskers.
Yeah, I think a lot of it just came down to Rule was very genuine in their interest and their effort. I mean, right away that Friday, they got over to Lincoln East. They got into the Coleman house. They had him on the Sunday when they had the in-state event that they hosted. They brought him back for the very first official visit weekend that they had under Matt Rule. But they made Malachi Coleman a priority all the way down to the point that entering the basketball game that they went to on the official visit, who's walking up the stairs with Malachi Coleman? Oh, it's Matt Rule. Like nothing happened by accident. They were very intentional in their efforts. Colorado came in and they were a very real threat. And Tim Brewster did a nice job recruiting him. He went out to Colorado. He had an official visit out there. I think that it could have ended, with Colorado, but Matt Rule and Nebraska staff were just continuing to sort of say, hey, look, here's our track record. Here's why we think you're a good fit for us. Here's why we think you're a good fit for Nebraska. You have the opportunity to stay home and play at home. We think that's great, but if you want to go somewhere else, we'll support that. We accept that. But here's why we think this is best for you. And I think that sort of pitch, combined with the fact that I think Malachi is smart enough to know that his NIL opportunities and his the attention that he's sort of accrued over this process, you're probably going to lose some of that if you go somewhere else. And whereas staying at Nebraska, he's going to likely have a chance to sort of be, a borderline celebrity player before he even does anything. So then if he actually is able to contribute on top of that, it all builds. And so I think that's all part of it. I mean, I think that they did a nice job in terms of recruiting that. And they sort of made it plain, like, here's why you're a good fit for us, and here's what we can do for you. And Malachi ultimately decided that was the right thing for him.
Shape, I think back to a week ago, and I asked you a question about the quarterback room and how much things have changed in such a short amount of time. Jeff Sims committed. He has immediate eligibility. And then obviously earlier this week, we learned that Casey Thompson will also be back in the room. Rule talked a little bit more about Sims today than he did Thompson. I wonder what you heard when he was speaking up there, especially, I mean, the quote that he had about Jeff Sims, like, what was it? I didn't go in there looking for a
transfer, but I went looking for Jeff.
But I went looking for Jeff Sims. I wonder what you made of that.
Well, it fits what we've heard about Jeff Sims. Like, I don't know how much people watch Georgia Tech football, and I don't know how much people knew about Jeff Sims, but that was a guy that when he went into the portal, I immediately was like, this would be fascinating. Just because he has the sort of physical tools that are real rare. Like, he is an absolute unique athlete, not just because he can sort of move the pocket a little bit, but he has a massive arm and he has a lot of talent. And this is a guy that I think was sort of underserved at Georgia Tech, needs a fresh start. I know talking with Andrew Ivins, our director of scouting at 24/7, he invoked the name Bo Nix, who went to Oregon, had a really nice, 2022. And that was kind of a running joke last year in the transfer portal. Like, is Nebraska going to end up with Bo Nix? Is Bo Nix just part, Adrian Martinez part 2? Like, that sort of thing. And instead, he ends up at a place in Oregon where they're able to compliment him a little bit. He gets a fresh start, and he had a lot of success. I don't know that that's, a thing with Jeff Sims that's unrealistic. And then throw in Marcus Satterfield, who's now going to be the quarterback's coach. Just spent last year working with Spencer Rattler and getting a quarterback out of the portal and getting him up to speed and getting it to the point at the end of the year where Spencer Rattler was throwing all over 2 pretty good defenses and helping South Carolina pull a couple big ups. So I think the feeling is that they have a lot to offer Jeff Sims, and they still think he's the kind of guy that has NFL teams drooling. I mean, he made sure to mention that there was people in the NFL that reached out to him. They're like, hey, you got to get that kid. And Nebraska did. And I think it's going to be pretty interesting. The Casey piece of it, though, is really kind of fascinating in its own right, because I don't see a world where both of those guys are on your roster next August. But right now, that's what it looks like.
Matt Rule was asked about the offensive line. He was asked about Donovan Raiola and why he was retained. And I thought the quote that was interesting was, Rule said he wasn't bought into the fact that the offensive line was necessarily bad, that was the reason why they were bad last year. And then he went on to talk about the accolades and why he brought Raiola back. What did you make of all of those?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. It's definitely an effort to kind of answer what is the largest fear of a lot of Nebraska fans, which is, can Nebraska get better in a hurry up front? And can they do it if they don't fully swap out a lot of those pieces? Because I don't know that there's a bunch of transfer portal offensive linemen that they're just going to be able to add here. I mean, they're going to be a part of a couple decisions potentially here today. I don't know that I'd project Nebraska to get either of those guys. And so, it's kind of on Rule to make sure he's building up the confidence of those guys that are going to likely play offensive line for him, because they're names we probably all know. And the name of the offensive line coach is a name that we already know. And so I thought it was a kind of a savvy move by him to kind of talk up both Raiola and why, he decided to keep him as his offensive line coach. They mesh in terms of personality and style. And I thought it was important for him also to basically say, look, that offensive line you saw last year, a lot of those guys are going to be back and we're going to be better. And whether that's true or not, we won't know until next fall. But that's a big confidence boost if you're Turner Corcoran or if you're Bryce Benhart or if you're Ethan Piper or any of those guys, because quite frankly, Nebraska needs it. Like you're not just going to wholesale have a different offensive line. You need Turner Corcoran to get to the potential that he had as a guy who was nearly a 5-star in the 2020 class. So that's important. It goes back into, and I tweeted about this, the most important thing that Matt Rule has said since he's been here is the line that he had about how everybody on the team is his guy. Because for 2 different coaching staffs, we have been there, and the conversation has been, well, when Mike Riley gets his guys, Scott Frost gets his guys, Eric Chenander has his guys, and yada, yada, yada. It doesn't matter. Like, as soon as you take over, it's your program, and I appreciate that approach from Matt Rule, and I think it's going to serve Nebraska so well.
Shafe, is there anyone that we have not talked about that has maybe committed or signed in recent days that is maybe jumping off the page at you as a really intriguing prospect?
No, I think we've largely hit on it. I mean, there's a number of guys that are interesting in their own right, but we don't know exactly how it's going to work because you just don't have any history yet with Matt Rule and the staff. So a lot of these guys are going to kind of be the guinea pigs going forward and what it looks like. And, whether a guy like Quentin Ivas or Bryce Turner or Jalen Lloyd or Vincent Carroll Jackson, 4 guys that have very uniquely different backgrounds that all sort of fit the same kind of Matt Rule mold. Whether they work out, we're not going to know for a couple of years. So I think, there's not anything that we haven't covered that really stands out. This class as a whole is pretty fascinating, in part because of the work the previous staff did. And I thought that, Rule touched on that a little bit, but they inherited a good backbone of a recruiting class, and they were able to build off of that. And I think that, you know, is going to serve them really well. You have guys in there like Riley Van Poppel and Dwight Boodle and Dylan Rogers and your offensive linemen from in-state and guys like that I think are going to be pretty helpful as they kind of transition and could be, you know, unsung because you're going to think about everything that's new. But some of those guys that stuck around throughout could be really big as Nebraska is able to turn this around.
Well, on this day, we always appreciate the men and women who cover recruiting because this is their Super Bowl. And Mike Schaefer, of course, doing yeoman's duty as he always does, but also doing so, still trying to come down off the high of the 33-point comeback.
Oh.
Schaefer, the Vikings are doing everything humanly possible. The Bills game, you know, this game to try to kill you before the playoffs. I'm afraid of what's coming in the postseason.
Look, when my mom asked that we turn the football game off on Saturday so we could focus on family Christmas, and I relented because I am, you know, a good son. I kind of thought I was getting a reprieve of everything, and then it turns out the Vikings make this massive comeback, and I subject everyone in my family to watch the finish. And you know what? They ended up winning. So it was the best Christmas gift I could have received.
Awesome.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
From the Minnesota Vikings.
Hey, is the Schaefer Family Christmas Twitter feed, is that just gone? I didn't see any tweets, or did I miss them?
Yeah, it's dead.
Oh.
I mean, like, you know, after so many years, people start playing it up, and
yeah,
you just can't trust that you're getting natural reactions to things. You just, you know, there was some moments in there that would have been pretty great, but also some that probably would have had a lot of people questioning members of my family, which is fair, and people should do anyways, even if they've never met them. But ultimately, it's probably for the best that, you know, we just leave those conversations as they are inside my parents' house.
All right. Well, they've already had a Merry Christmas, so I guess we
Yeah.
don't have to wish him a Merry Christmas. He's already had his.
Yeah, I hope that your Christmas
Well,
was
we
great.
got 3 more Christmases left.
Oh my
that
gosh.
was just 1 of 4.
Wow.
1 of 4.
Plenty of holly jolly left, you know. You know me. I'm the
Okay,
most
so-
outgoing, positive, happy individual. So this is the best time of year.
The Schaefer family Christmas, the Shelby family Christmas. What are the other 2 Christmases?
Extended family Christmas.
So
extended on both sides?
2 extended family Christmases.
Yeah, I mean, it's all on Shelby's side. My extended family wants nothing to do with me. So, you know, that's just the way that it goes. So, you know, we'll just do a bunch of Christmases with her side, and we'll call it good.
All right. Well, good luck surviving them, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks because we'll be off next week.
All right. That sounds good. Do I get next week off? Do I get the chance to charge the batteries a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah. We won't bother you. We will leave you alone.
I mean,
do whatever you want next
We would have
Wednesday.
bothered you with a Wang
Nachos.
but-
Oh, I want to watch basketball. Stupid.
Sorry, I got to go to this riveting Nebraska-Iowa basketball game.
Here we could have sat at home and had fun watching Josh fret over the Cowboys and the Titans. But
Yeah, that could have been fun, but I get a chance to watch the best basketball team in the state. You got to take
the state of Iowa, yes, the Hawkeyes having a good season.
I get it.
John, Nebraska, where Nebraska won the Corn Cup, which is when you beat UNO and Creighton in the same year.
The Corn Cup. Lift it up, Huskers.
Well, enjoy the win over Queens.
This year, they might as well celebrate it.
That's true.
I guess so. All right, Schaefer. Have a good one. Thanks.
See ya.
There's Mike Schaefer of Husker 24/7. I had a graphic earlier.
Yeah.
And so I've been curious what the attrition rate truly was in the last 4 recruiting classes. And we'll get into that and more.
Perfect.
Talk about big flips. People talk about, recruits flipping.
Yeah.
The biggest flip of the day was Carlos Correa.
Yeah, that's the one we got to break down.
Baseball.
That's a lot of damn money.
And
the Mets just got a lot better.
That name, image, likeness is crazy in Major League Baseball.
No, it's actual real money paid by the actual franchise.
Oh,
They
that's
don't-
weird.
They don't worry about such things like NIL.
Is
They
he
let
going to enter the
players do it.
portal?
Nope, there's no portal.
There is. It's just called free agency.
It's called free agency. That's
All right.
true. On 1620 The Zone.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Kugler Vision on a day like today and the weather that we're going to have over the next few days. So important that when you get in that vehicle, that you see everything out there in front of you with the crazy weather, the crazy wind, all that stuff, and they can help you do so at Kugler Vision. Give them a call today at 402-558-2211. I've mentioned it a few times over the last couple of weeks. The year's almost over, only 10 days left now. Might still have some of that money sitting in the flex plan or the HSA. Even if you're unable to take advantage of those leftover dollars or you don't have those dollars anymore, they have a number of payment options for you. So even if you don't have the dollars, like I mentioned, they will still make it affordable for your budget. Find out more information. You can give them a call today at 402-558-2211. You can visit their website, kuglervision.com. The team there, they specialize in tough vision problems, and they're the only office in our area that specializes in all 7 forms of modern vision correction. They'll have a procedure that is customized to your unique eyes as well as activities. 402-558-2211 or kuglervision.com.
The Connor Happer Show.
Matt Rule has quote tweeted himself and did a king hat. What's a king hat called? Josh,
it's a crown.
What's a crown and a flame, a fire emoji. Are you sure that's what it is? A crown, not a king hat?
The Connor Happer Show. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Some light to moderate snow before midnight, then windy and cold with blowing snow after midnight. Temperatures drop all the way down to -11 by Thursday morning. A high of 6 below zero with a wind chill of 35 below on Thursday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center, we have just one accident to report right now at 30th Street and Ames Avenue. Traffic from that is backed up all the way to Sorensen Parkway. Along with that, we have slowdowns on West Center Road from 192nd all the way to Bob Boozer Drive, as well as slowdowns all along Dodge from 108th Street all the way to 72nd Street. Remember to buckle those seatbelts and keep a little bit of extra following distance today. I'm Dan Campanen.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Fernando's Omaha.
Help someone on your Christmas list get their Fernando's fix with Fernando's gift cards. Buy $100 and get a $20 gift card for yourself. Only at 75th and Pacific or 114th and Dodge. Hurry, offer ends soon. Feliz Navidad from Fernando's. FernandosOmaha.com.
Hey, it's Jan from Toyota, reminding you that Toyotathon is on and here to help make your holidays extra magical. How? Maybe it's driving in a Tacoma in search of the perfect hill to sled down. Hopping from store to store in a Prius to find the perfect gift.
You did it. How'd you know?
Or it could be something much more simple, like surprising loved ones in a RAV4 hybrid.
You made it, Bobby. You're all grown up.
And seeing their faces light up when you pull up to their home. Stop by Toyotathon and make this holiday one to remember. It's the perfect opportunity to gather with your friends and family, both near and far.
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers on these vehicles end November 30th. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 3rd. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, or Baxter Toyota of La Vista.
Creighton coverage on the Zone is presented by Berry Law. At Berry Law, we fight alongside those who choose to fight back. Call Berry Law at 402-999-7777 or visit BerryLawFirm.com. At Berry Law, we're in it to win it.
Food insecurity is a real problem in my community. I'm helping my neighbors get the food they need by volunteering with Food Bank for the Heartland.
Give back to your community by donating or volunteering. Visit foodbankheartland.org to get started.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson.
And my tray was too close to my joystick, and I got too excited.
Of 1620, The Zone.
Tweet from Zachary.
Yeah.
John makes a joke about Iowa basketball being good. Apparently he hasn't seen their game going on right now. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
No, I'm not watching it.
Yeah, I know. They're losing 82-70 to the 3-9 Eastern Illinois Panthers.
Well, you know what?
They suck.
It happened.
There's not any Panthers in Eastern Illinois.
Yeah, I've seen one.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was there and I saw one.
I don't think you're telling the truth.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to look this up because I was curious about the...
You'd be a great headline writer.
Why?
I like it. Hardly knew ya. Hardly knew ye.
I wasn't sure if it was Y-A or Y-E. So
I like
Y-E.
Y-E
Or
is
is it yay?
ye.
Hardly knew yay.
Oh, well, Nick, problematic.
John
over
wrote
here.
it.
First of all, Y-E is not pronounced yay. I don't care what some moron who worships Nazis says. He does.
Hard to argue with that.
A lot.
Hard
But
to argue
You're
with
right.
But here's the attrition rate for the last 4 recruiting classes. These are the players that are no longer on the roster.
Okay.
And the 2019 class, there are still 13 players remaining on the roster out of the 27 who signed their letters of intent. We're not counting transfers here. This is just the 4-year recruits or the JUCOs who came in as part of the quote unquote traditional recruiting class. So that means 52% attrition rate. 2020 class took a big hit. Not only did they lose 61% of their class, there's only 10 players left out of the 26 who signed.
And real quick, this is not players who like graduate. Well, I guess they.
No, these are
graduate.
players
Yeah.
who left. These are
Duh,
players
yeah.
who left
Because
they all left.
Okay,
they're all gone.
John, that is horrid.
And
you
I
know what,
also
though?
and I also separated it out in terms of the top 10. So I looked at the top 10 recruits according to the 24/7 composite, because we've always talked about Nebraska's inability to retain and develop and make their top players their best players.
Sure.
First two classes in this study, there's only 4 of the top 10 remaining from the 2019 class. There's only 3 of the top 10 remaining from the 2020 class.
And that makes sense too, that class had a lot of attrition because, I mean, it was a weird time in our country. You know, very, very strange time. I'm not surprised. We've seen all sorts of people around the country move, leave their jobs, yada, yada, yada. So that attrition rate being higher than normal, I don't think it's that big of a surprise.
And I don't know. And honestly, I don't know. It's higher than normal. And I've had people ask.
No, I'm just saying for these ones it is. It's the highest of all of them.
Right, but they're also the oldest classes. So there's more time for them to want to leave.
But the 2020 is 10% higher than 2019 I think that's it's notable, I guess, is what I would say.
The 21 class, there's still 16 of the 20 remaining.
Wow. 16-20.
And
the zone.
Yes, Nick.
From last year's class, there's 15 of the 19 remaining. So overall, last 4 classes, the attrition rate has been 41% overall. So 41% of the signings of the last 4 years are gone.
Mm-hmm.
And of the top 10 players, the attrition rate is 45%. Now, how that compares to the rest of the country, I don't know. I only was curious about Nebraska. Yes, it would be fascinating to look
John,
at
do
all of the other
Wisconsin.
schools. I don't have that much time in the day.
Nick, get on it.
But if you would like to do it, I would love to see your work.
No.
Wow, lazy.
I would love to see your work.
No, I would too. That's interesting stuff.
And I would guess, if I had to guess, I would guess that this probably, if it's anything, it might be a little above the average.
Probably equal.
But probably not that much more above the average, because a lot of places are seeing high attrition. A lot of places.
It's all over the place. I remember when there was a story done within the last decade about quarterback transfers. And it was like at the time, and this was 6-7 years ago, the time it was like 50% of quarterbacks that signed left. And so I thought that was a nice clean number, because you could look at a quarterback room and say, all right, half those guys are going to leave on average. And that number has climbed, as all these numbers have climbed in recent years. So yeah, would I be surprised if Nebraska's number is higher than other schools? No, I would bet that it is, but I'm with you. I don't think it's going to be like this staggering, oh my gosh, Nebraska's 20% higher than everybody else. They're just probably higher, but not,
not
crazy.
dramatically higher.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing it happen at the bigger programs too.
Mm-hmm.
Where players realize, oh man, I'm caught behind 3 different guys on the depth chart. I think I'll find something else.
Yeah.
On that subject,
I'll go play at Nebraska now.
On that subject, there was a tweet earlier this week from a college football coach that was rather interesting. And then I also saw an article regarding NIL and kind of market value. And I thought we could get into that coming up next, because obviously that's going to be a big conversation point. If there is a beyond just the, kids don't stick it out anymore that you hear argument from some folks, if there is a downfall, and you heard Matt Rule talk about it, he alluded to it. He said tampering has been sad. And that's probably something that that's something that is an unintended consequence of the unlimited free agency that now exists in college sports, because the tampering is running wild. So we'll get to that in a minute, but I wanted to, because I know you'll love this.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
I know you'll love this because it involves Ryan Day.
Ooh, have you seen this?
But Ryan Day today was asked about recent decommitments in the Ohio State program, one of which is Dylan Raiola.
Hey, Coach, why is your class falling apart? Is that what was asked?
I don't know how the question was phrased. But Day said there was a time when other schools stopped recruiting players after they committed, but that isn't the case anymore. Quote, it's the way things are going. We just have to adapt.
Good Lord. There was a time, what year? 1904? Get out of here, Coach Day.
Sounds like the sun is setting on Ohio State.
There you go. It's early sunset, Nick, because it's the shortest day of the year.
First day winter.
Well, maybe Day is partially right. Maybe it was once they had committed to a place like Ohio State, other schools stopped because they figured there's no way we're going
to but now
pry them away from this group.
Top 5 recruiter. That quote's pretty rich. I don't even hate the guy, but that's a bad quote.
I don't know if it's a bad quote, but it's
when in the history that you and I have been watching college football, did a recruit mean that coaches stopped recruiting them?
Oh, never.
Exactly. So that's why that quote is idiotic. That has never happened. Oh, okay. Well, Ohio State has to come in. I guess I got to leave them alone because word is their bond for these 17-year-olds.
Well, we know that's not true.
Exactly. Just like it's not true for the coaches because they leave all the time too.
But that's not the quote of the day.
Oh, there's another one?
This is the quote of the day from another one of Josh's favorite coaches, Mr. Dabo Swinney.
Thinking through it, and for me, we built this program on NIL. We really did. And it's probably different than what you're thinking, though. We built this program in God's name, image, and likeness. And that's how I look at it. So
this is the first time that I've actually watched the video. The way that he smiles.
Yes. Oh, he's setting it up.
He's setting
it up. He had this if he had a cheat sheet or if he had
it was on his card.
It was there. It was like, this is one of the bullet points I want to hit today.
God's name, image.
He got the question.
Happy when he wrote that.
Yeah, watch the
thinking through it, and for me, we built this program on NIL. We really did. And it's probably different than what you're thinking, though. We built this program in God's name, image, and likeness. And that's how I look at it. So
I saw somebody refer to them on Twitter earlier as the righteous Clemstones. And I thought that was very, very good. The righteous Clemstones.
You said it right on Twitter. It really is some youth pastor energy.
Oh, yeah. That's something that, I went to youth group for many, many years.
He needs an acoustic guitar and a chair he can sit backwards in.
Folks, you know who else went into the transfer portal? Lucifer. That's Satan. John.
Yes, I know.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you knew.
I know. I know who Lucifer is.
Just want to make sure you knew.
Did he go into the transfer portal or was he kicked out? Or kicked into the transfer
portal? It's a good
portal?
question. Yeah, did they push him out or did he leave on his own doing? The original transfer portal. Hell. And that's why, folks, you shouldn't go to hell. All right, let's get the band back up here and play
Josh
out,
Peterson
play
not
out,
here for
play
hell.
out youth group. Man, I'm all the memories are coming back, John, about the end of youth group. All right, let's fire up the music, fire up the song.
We're going to play that song I told you my pastor played us when I was a kid.
I don't remember that song.
Instead of Louie Louie, it was Pharaoh Pharaoh.
Dave, there's no way that Dabo NIL quote ever comes back to bite him in the ass. Nope, not a chance. That smirk is so funny.
Well, how would it bite? How would it bite him in the ass?
I don't know. They have a guy who's like, actually, I like Satan. I don't know.
It had to have been like 2 a.m. He was at his desk trying to write this, trying to figure it out. And then he just looked up. He saw his Bible on the side of his desk. And he's like, I got it.
Jordan says, for John, Lucifer equals Steve Peterson.
I know who Lucifer is.
No, he's saying that you think that Steve Peterson is Lucifer.
Old Lucy?
Mm-hmm.
He's just an idiot. Just an old moron.
Wow, you used to call him Satan and reincarnated. Is this
I called him the Vision.
Has the
He's
holiday
Vision.
spirit gotten into you?
No, he's still a scumbag.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong.
Jordan said John is very familiar with Lucifer. You got fired by Satan.
He's a moron.
We all know that.
Nothing good about him.
We all know that.
All right, coming up next, we'll dive more into tampering and market value of NIL.
Mm.
You know where you don't have to worry about the market value of NIL? When it's God's NIL.
I mean, there is tithing.
That's true.
People forget.
The Catholic Church got in trouble for it.
10%. Okay, Nick, let's not get a little personal.
People forget the schism. I'm not getting personal.
They
That's
all
history.
they all take
Yeah, they all
money.
take tithes, Nick. 10%.
Yeah, but they were, the whole get into heaven thing. That's where Lutheranism came from. Because they're like, nah.
We were just trying to make jokes, and now Nick is insulting.
I'm not insulting. It happened. It's
Insulting the
history.
religions.
This is terrible.
It's history.
All right, turn us, John.
We're going to tell you about McCarthy's 1 hour heating and air conditioning. The folks who are always on time or you don't pay a dime. And right now, when you join the Comfort Club, you can get discounts on repairs, priority services, but more importantly, you get a twice annual inspection of both your furnace and your AC. Important for many factors, but two very important factors. For gas furnace owners, to make sure that your furnace is working safely, no carbon monoxide issues, which is a big problem, especially when folks get clammed up in their house, as we're going to be the next couple of days. Please make sure that furnace is inspected annually. Secondly, it's just like maintenance on your car, maintenance on your house. You don't want bigger problems down the road, so regular maintenance and checkup is good for your HVA system. So, go to McCarthy's1hour.com. Join the McCarthy's Comfort Club. You can also get other great perks, priority service, and more. And the folks who are always on time or you don't pay a dime, which means they'll be there when they say they will at McCarthy's 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. McCarthy's1hour.com.
Now live on Twitch, YouTube, and 1620thezone.com.
Many people go back to the dealership out of habit or because they think the dealer is the only one who knows how to fix their car. At Omaha Car Care, we offer a better option. We have ASE certified technicians, the technology to service any vehicle, and free loaner cars. The dealer will sell you a package of services. We'll provide the service you want for your car as your trusted partner. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
Give gifts from Greenberg's and receive a Shields gift card worth up to $500. Choose from stunning diamond engagement rings, anniversary rings, pendants, earrings, and more. It will be a perfect gift for both of you. Make a $500 purchase and receive a $50 Shields gift card. $1,000? Get a $100 gift card. $2,000? Get a $300 gift card. $3,000? Get a $500 gift card. Hurry into Greenberg's for this limited time holiday offer. Westroads Mall.
Creighton Sports Update. Creighton men's basketball is back at CHI Health Center tomorrow as they host the Butler Bulldogs. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. Limited tickets are available online at gocreighton.com/tickets. That's Creighton versus Butler tomorrow at 7. And that's your Creighton Sports Update.
$16.20 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
With almost everything in life, you have choices. You can pick a lot, a little, or somewhere in the middle. So shouldn't there be an internet plan that's just as clever? One that allows you to add TV or home automation whenever. That's why Cox now offers flexible internet plans, giving you all the services you desire at nothing you don't require. Additional services can be added at then current regular rates. All services subject to residential customer service agreement and acceptable use policy found at cox.com/policies. Restrictions apply.
The world
world is always on. But you shouldn't be. Put junk sleep to bed. During Mattress Firm's Dream December sale, save up to 60% with Sealy Queen mattresses starting at $279.99. Only at Mattress Firm.
Buy your next vehicle your way from anywhere with Woodhouse. Start your journey online at woodhouse.com. Easily shop all new and pre-owned inventory. Explore payment options and apply for financing. Ready to purchase? Schedule your new vehicle for pickup from the dealership or have it delivered to your driveway. Need a little extra help in determining your perfect vehicle? Our knowledgeable and local dealerships can guide you to the vehicle that best matches your needs. Experience car buying your way with Woodhouse, a trusted auto partner since 1975.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
We saw UTSA the other day playing in a bowl game.
Meep, the Roadrunners.
Their head coach, Jeff Traylor, put out a tweet after the game addressed to NCAA football, the NCAA football account.
Nice.
Said, "Dear at NCAA football, how does," and he tagged his program, "report Power 5 schools who are trying to poach our young talent? How much evidence do we really need to make this not be a part of our game?" And a lot of, smaller programs, group of 5 programs, have been lamenting the fact that the transfer portal is being used and coaches are using the opportunity to go out and get players by essentially, calling them and basically talking them into the transfer portal.
Was this not a concern when we would talk a few years ago before they gave, free reign on
Carte
transfers,
blanche, yeah.
that this would happen, that you'd have the lower level schools that they would develop players. Hey, Khalil Mack, for example, I think he was always like the example. Buffalo, really great career, gets drafted in the top 5 by the Raiders and has a long NFL career. He was kind of that exhibit A. That's going to happen too often. And I mean, sure enough, we've seen a lot of those players from those types of schools end up, hopping into the Power 5. Nebraska and other schools are waiting to hear from an offensive lineman from Rhode Island, that is in the portal, and they're he's like one of the most sought after dudes. All these Power 5 schools are open to land this guy.
Yeah. By the way, did he Cornelius? Where did he end up going? Did he go to Ohio
I thought
State?
I thought I read something that was coming at 5:30.
I thought that was today. I thought
no,
that
yeah,
was
but
this afternoon.
5:30 today.
No, I thought it was earlier.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought it was supposed to be tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll double check on that.
Yeah.
For some reason, I had it in my mind that it was sometime early this afternoon.
Cornelius this is according to the scroll, 7:30 tonight. I don't know if that's Rhode Island time, so Eastern time or our time. So
okay.
Either way, after the show.
But yeah, the prospect of tampering. Listen, until you actually put some regulations and guardrails, how are you going to avoid tampering?
Mm-hmm.
It's unlimited free agency. Players can leave. I mean, yeah, they can't physically enter the portal when they want to, but they can be checked out and essentially said, "Yep, I'm done. I'm going to move on to somewhere else."
Let me ask you this, and I'm not being flippant. So what do you do? Because there's a part of me that wanted Traylor. It's like, all right, name the names, man. Let us know who these is. And I'm not trying to imply that he's lying because I don't think he is. But we also see it in the pros. Now that's different. It's a much smaller group of teams. But we've talked about tampering many, many times in the NBA. Oh wow, interesting. Free agency's open, and suddenly Kevin Durant. So it's obvious that he had been in talks with the Nets, for example. They don't look. They give punishments, but we always laugh at it. Oh, cool. The Nets have to pay $500,000, and then we all move on because in the end nobody cares. Now this is different because this is, let's pretend it's Alabama that's going after a UTSA player.
Mhm.
That's different because those teams, they're playing in the same sport, but come on, we know that they're not playing in the same
The biggest
sport.
difference is you do have a true governing structure, and we can say, hey, maybe the punishment isn't enough, but
yeah,
you do have a true governing structure. And if things are too egregious, and we saw it in the case of the Miami Dolphins, the NFL will crack down.
Mhm.
There's no central governing structure. And that's why he's attaching his tweet and directing it to NCAA football, but they don't control that.
Are you going to cape for the scholarship contract again?
I'm always gonna.
I mean, look,
I'm always gonna
I've made
promote
fun
that
of
because
you,
I think
yeah.
it is a smart way to do it because it puts
Guardrails.
responsibility on both parties, the school and the player. Listen, all it's leading to is what this inevitably all of this is leading to, and
Split.
that is the pro football or pro basketballification of college sports. We're getting to that point. We're just getting there in a weird half-assed way with a Wild West, but college sports have always had an element of Wild West to them. It's
Absolutely.
just a little more wilder today,
More wild in different ways than it was 100 years ago.
It's more wide out in the open. Now more people can
Bingo.
see exactly what is happening, and there's no mystery and there's no behind the scenes. Ooh, take a look at what's happening. No, you can now see all of it playing out in front in public.
Yeah. By the way, somebody sent us a text. Cody did the Cornelius announcement, 5:30 Central Time. So it'll actually happen within the next hour. So hopefully we can give you that information here on the Grum. College football is really about to come to a head, I think, on all of this stuff. I was listening to Split Zone Duo this morning in front of the program. Stephen Godfrey brought up a point that some reason, John, had just kind of slipped through the cracks for me as we talked about the expanded playoff. We are 2 years away from the playoff taking place at the same time as the early signing period. That you have all of these schools. You're going to have 12 schools in the playoff. And at this week of the calendar, at that point in time, I believe 8 of them for sure will still be involved, if not all 12, depending on when it falls. I guess it'd be 8. Now we'd have the first round. This is just not feasible. And Godfrey was just talking about that coaches are like lamenting. It's not feasible. What's happening right now and what these coaches are being asked to do. I mean, you have the holidays coming up. We're in the midst of Hanukkah right now. Obviously, Christmas is a few days away.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much going on, and these coaches have to do that. You have schools that are obviously preparing for playoff games that are 10 days from now, next weekend. 4 of those teams are involved. 2 of those will play for a national championship, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's insane. And I don't know why I didn't think about it before. Like, oh my gosh, it's going to be crazy that you are going to have all these teams in the midst of playoff. I mean, like, they'll have a game this weekend, John,
Mm-hmm.
is what we're kind of talking about, or I guess next weekend. But it's just they need to do some changes. And I thought Godfrey had a really great point that the NFL, I mean, look, man, they run their league so damn well, where they would never allow, and the point he made was they would never allow for a week 1 of the NFL to start. And then they're like, hey, we're expanding our playoff this year. No, they tell that to us at different points in the calendar because the NFL does have a central governing structure. They do know what they are doing and putting things together.
And there are ramifications for people who misbehave.
Correct. And you're not allowed to hire coaches for your franchise before that coach is done with his prior team.
Exactly. Which, of course, does not happen in college sports.
Correct. And so, again, all of this is going to come to a head. I don't know what it's going to look like. You and I have been, since we've been together, have been saying you need to set up guardrails. Now, when we first started, it was not about the portal or any, but over the years, we have always argued to have more structure within college football. Ultimately, I don't know what Traylor wants or what coaches like him want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I mean, it's just absolutely crazy.
Not enough time to get the NIL stuff. I do want to get to because there was some interesting things about market value. Maybe we'll book that for tomorrow's program at this time and talk about that then. But I thought, with this being signing day and also crossing over with bowl season, that's the other thing too. Think of all these programs. They're playing their bowl games and signing day today.
Mm-hmm.
The calendar is just
It
so
just it doesn't
goofed up.
John, it doesn't make any sense. JD says move early signing period to July 1st. That corresponds with the new NCAA season. I think an early signing period in theory is a great idea. This one, I never thought it really made a whole lot of sense in the first place. It's not that early. It's 2 months, but it's still, the season is still ongoing.
The season's still on. Yeah. It really doesn't make a lot of sense.
But like you said, there's a sport that's never made sense.
And there are some days where I'm with Bo Pelini. It's like, why have a signing day?
Yeah, just allow them to sign at all times.
You know, once they hit their senior year in high school, they could sign.
Well, and that, it's funny too that you say that, John, because that this is overlapping also with the transfer portal. You would never have the draft overlap with free agency.
No.
They're separate. The NBA, now they're like, the NBA is draft and then free agency, and the NFL is free agency and then draft, but they have them separate for a reason.
Yes.
And it's really, the reason is to drive engagement and to have interest. Do you remember how much, and we were kind of talking about this earlier this week, how we used to blow out this day and how it literally felt like a holiday for people. It doesn't anymore.
No.
And maybe that's just the way that society has changed and the way that our relationship with it has changed because of the transfer portal and because of players leaving.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're happening simultaneously and that we're learning about a Texas A&M lineman transfer on the same day that all these high school recruits are signing, it just is weird.
It's a mess. It's a mess.
They should be thinking, and I know people hate hearing the word content, but they should be thinking about, college sports should be, that these are content items. How can we drive up the most interest in our content? Because that's what college football is. It gets many millions of viewers, and yet it never feels like a national sport like the NFL or NBA.
But herein lies the problem. Again, that goes back to having a centralized system. The SEC has something they would like to do.
Correct.
The Big Ten has something they would like to do. But the sport in general, it's just kind of there.
Yeah.
And there's no structure. There's no organization. I mean, Roger Goodell is in for promoting the National Football League, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he talks to the owners about it. He's got a staff of people that help him do it. College football has none of that.
Correct.
They have a lot of people with ideas. They have a lot of people that would like to do things a certain way, but there's no organized effort to pool everybody together and say, here's what's best for our sport, and here's how we should proceed. There's none of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes with the promotion of, signing day and, transfer day and all the other stuff. We do have, before we go to break, some breaking news. Joel Lorenzi of Omaha.com, the Omaha World Herald, just tweeted out, I am told that Creighton Jr. Ryan Kalkbrenner is expected to make his return tomorrow night against Butler after missing the past 3 games with a non-COVID illness.
All right.
So the re-debut of Ryan Kalkbrenner. Now that's coming from Joel, nothing official from the team. But that would be good news in time for tomorrow's game, which, by the way, is still on.
Yeah, many people have asked you, including me for the record, hey, is the game going to get
played?
Oh,
they have to play now because I'm committed. I'm here, and I'm staying here. I'm not going anywhere.
You're staying here till Friday?
Well, yeah, the weather
outside is frightful.
It's supposed to be
Fire
bad.
so delightful.
But the arena is
so
so
supposed
delightful.
to be bad driving home on Thursday.
Well, you stay safe.
Yeah, stay super safe.
Which is why I'm staying here.
All right. Yeah, you're right, though. If you have made it here.
I've made the commitment.
Are you going to enter the portal, a.k.a. I-80?
Nope.
You going to go to Colorado?
Why would I go to Colorado?
I don't know, people.
John's not Louis.
Not Louis?
I'm not Louis.
Sorry, you're not Louis.
No, he's Fooey.
Hey.
You know it's not Fooey?
Dumb debates.
Bingo.
1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center, we've got some major slowdowns coming through on West Center Road in between 192nd Street and Bob Boozer Drive, as well as further down Center in between 90th and 72nd. We've got no accidents to report at this time, but remember to keep that extra following distance and wear those seatbelts. I'm Dan Campanen.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Bling in the holidays with Saul's. All jewelry in stock up to 50% off. All sterling jewelry up to 70% off. Watches starting at $19. Diamond earrings starting at $39. Bling in the holidays with up to 50% off jewelry at Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Benjamin Franklin said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. I agree.
I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. I grew up in Nebraska, attended our local public schools, and became a teacher. It wasn't easy, but it's the best investment I've ever made. Teachers are encouraging every student to invest their time in learning. Please join us in that effort. Support public education.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
Listen to Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jay Overtime, the Creighton men's basketball postgame show on 1620 The Zone. Live from DJ's Dugout downtown. It's right after every home game, presented by Barry Law. Exclusively on your home for the Creighton Blue Jays. 1620 The Zone.
There are actually two kinds of cigars. The first is the one you smoke with beloved family and friends. The second, the one you enjoy with friends you've just met. And you'll find both at Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge. At Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, there's a well-stocked humidor with some of the best bands from around the world and a bar with your favorite cocktails and other drinkables. So what do you say? Which cigar will you be enjoying tonight? Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, just off I-680 and 48th Street next to Cubby's.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
This message is for the guy who isn't perfect in the bedroom. And let's be honest, who is? Maybe the issue is getting it up or keeping it up, or maybe it's finishing too soon. If any of these performance hiccups sound familiar to you, don't sweat it. Hims can help. At 4hims.com, you can go online and get clinically proven prescription medication that treats these issues, prescribed for you, if appropriate, by licensed medical providers. And the medication is shipped free to your door in discreet packaging. Plus, Hims gives you unlimited follow-up visits with medical providers. No one's perfect in the bedroom every time, but with Hims, you can get a lot closer than before. And chances are, your partner will agree.
To get started today, go to 4hims.com/perfect. That's 4hims.com/perfect for your free visit. FORHIMS.com/PERFECT.
Welcome to the After Hours Lounge on 1620 The Zone.
Can we not be naive and know that there is probably tampering?
Can we stop using that term? Guys are texting each other on a minute-by-minute basis. And you know what? There's nothing different about the starting inside linebacker at Nebraska and the biology major.
Catch After Hours 6 to 8, Monday through Friday, or as the sports schedule allows. Brought to you by Iowa Western Community College and Payne West on 1620 The Zone.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
It'd be nice to have a pro
throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
throw.
It would be nice to have a pro
throw.
When you're gone.
Listen, listen not to We Did Anyway, dumb debating.
John's computer sucks, Macs are the only way, dumb debating.
Fullbacks are running backs, hamburger steaks.
Josh is too dumb to eat a cupcake.
Mailing a base.
Does John like Nebraska or Creighton?
Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating. Die for the pylon or give up on the plate, dumb debating.
Millennials are great and old should go away, dumb debating.
Rarely do we find any common ground.
Josh wants his food to be the best around,
even if it gives him fatal flatulation.
Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating. When a tree falls down and nobody's around, you can bet your ass it won't make a sound. Water ain't wet, you know nothing about hydration. Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating. Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating.
Happy winter,
New Year.
everybody. Today is we are now officially in winter.
Oh, wow.
According to the seasons, the solstice. Now, the bad news is today is the shortest day of the year.
That's a positive.
But the positive is now every day moving forward until June, the days will get just a little bit longer each day.
Gotta love that sunlight.
It's just going to take a while to get there.
It is. Yeah, the countdown's on to March. That's what the countdown's on till.
Did somebody say June?
Nice, Nick.
Whoops.
At this point, I would be happy for that.
Well,
I miss my summer.
I don't know if this is a dumb debates question. I know I've mentioned it before, but if there's a scientist out there, I would love to get your answer. What would happen? So today, right now it's 18. It's going to be really cold tomorrow. Let's say we got a foot of snow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not wishing for that for the record. But what would happen if it would just suddenly flip and it was 100 degrees and super humid? How long would it take for a foot of snow that had been sitting in negative whatever degree temperatures to melt? I've always wondered about that. You know, like you put a thing of ice water in the microwave, you start it, and it melts.
My guess is that well, first off, when you have snow cover, the temperature is brought down because the radiant heat, you know, you've got snow on the ground, so it cools everything. So it would take a little bit for it to actually get up to 100 degrees, right?
Yeah.
And you would have
all the flooding.
But you would also probably have like incredible fog. Because of all the melting and everything, you know, the steam rising and everything as the water changes or the ice turns over to water, which turns to, you know, evaporation. It would be rather chaotic.
Yeah.
Everything would feel sticky.
Ugh.
I don't know what it would feel like, but
so yeah, I'm
It'd be
daring to
humid
dream.
and
Someday
sticky,
I
I
want it
think.
to snow a foot and then be 70 the next day.
That's global warming,
I
Josh.
do remember after the big snowstorm we had in '87, the one I call the WrestleMania 3 blizzard, because it prevented me and my friend from coming to Omaha to watch WrestleMania 3.
Why would you come? Was it in Omaha?
Well, no, they had pay-per-view in Omaha. We didn't have pay-per-view in
Where were you going to
in
go?
Fremont. My aunt's house here in
Oh,
we
Aunt
were gonna-
Lippincott?
No. Well, she is on the Lippincott side, but
And former Lippincott.
Yeah.
But
It's her maiden name.
like 2 days later, I remember delivering papers, and the snow is, you know, I think we had close to a foot of snow, and I mean, water's just running everywhere.
Because it's really warm?
Because it warmed up into like the 40s or 50s.
Interesting.
Yeah, I remember a few days back
And it
home.
was just really crazy.
I remember a few days back home where it would snow a decent amount, but the next day it was like 60 or 70.
So yeah, it melts fast.
Yeah.
Dumb debates.
Yeah.
Real muddy.
It's been a while since we've gotten a contribution
Been a while.
from Alex Sindelar.
Oh,
Alex.
And as per usual, Alex's are a little out there.
I love them.
Would you rather be able to read, but your favorite sports team is perpetually involved in losing, scandal, and conflict, or be illiterate, but your favorite sports openly talks smack about you and tells you all your secrets after winning a championship every year?
So the team wins a title every year, but they make fun of me?
You just get dunked on by the Cowboys.
But you're illiterate.
They already dunk on me right now.
You want to get dunked on by Jared
the Cowboys
Jones?
win.
They already do, though.
The Cowboys win, but you're
By name.
illiterate, and the Cowboys tell all of your secrets after winning a championship.
Time travel in Jera.
What kind of secrets are we talking about here?
All your secrets.
Your deep, most
Well, I
intimate
just don't
personal
know.
ones.
Yeah, I don't know what my secrets are. You know, is it like thoughts that I have had, things that I have done?
Maybe if it's something that you've shared with at least one person.
Because I've never like committed outside of, you know,
the murder club,
stealing milk from school before.
Wow.
I put the magnet on the computer, but I've told these stories.
But they also talk smack about you, so they just make fun of you.
I like being able to read. I'm a read boy.
I like reading too.
Plus, like
So in other words, you want the status quo. You want to be able
that's
to
the thing.
read,
I already am
but your
used to
team
it.
is always involved in
I
losing,
like
scandal,
reading.
and conflict.
That was, you know, one of my favorite. This is gonna sound so dorky. When my team is good, one of my favorite things about it is like I get to read more about the team being good, and I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, but if in this
Listen to
scenario,
a podcast.
all you'd be able to read about is them losing, being in scandal, or
But they're
conflict.
making fun of me, Nick.
Can I pick my sport because I love Formula One and football? So I got.
You
two.
love football.
I like football.
Okay.
I'll let the Formula One team
what,
tank.
would you rather be able to read, but McLaren is always
Hey,
involved
you
in
remembered.
losing, scandal, or conflict?
flag.
Or would you like to be illiterate and Pierre Gasly is mocking you openly?
Pierre Gasly doesn't drive for
Nick
McLaren.
does not do
Whatever, I'm
well
just
if you
saying.
make fun of him.
I'm
I
just-
don't think he would do that.
I'm just saying in general.
You do not like getting made fun of.
Whoever,
Not always.
Mr.
Not ever.
Mr. McLaren makes fun of you.
Mr. McLaren. It's Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri.
It's got to be your bull.
Yeah, they can make fun of me. Why not?
Wow, I don't. No way, Nick.
Well, they'd know me by name. You know how prestigious that is?
Yeah, but then everyone else on Twitter would make fun of you too.
Right. All of the
You would
people
hate
of the
this.
world.
Nick, you don't like it when like 3 people make fun of
All
you.
the crazy Italians who go
John
waving
and I are
their
like-
Ferrari flags are knowing
They're-
that
Nick,
you, all your secrets,
They're
and making
saying,
fun of you.
"Hey, that's the bloke that doesn't shower." That's what they're saying about you all the time.
That's a terrible Italian accent.
Oh,
Well,
sorry.
McLaren's British.
They're eating fettuccine.
Josh was actually right.
They're eating fish and chips, and they're making fun of you for being stinky.
Chippies.
You
I'm
would
not
hate
stinky
this.
though. If I was actually stinky, it would bother me more.
Yeah, methinks you doth protest a bit too much.
Well, it's because I started showering every day, and it's like it didn't matter to you guys.
As I said, Nick does not like being made fun of. It would drive him to madness. Don't do it, Nick. Have your team be a loser. I don't want to see you devolve.
Our friend Chris.
Money
into
Chris?
The, no, different Chris.
Different Chris.
Into the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. My girlfriend's daughter wasn't eating dinner the other day, so she asked to just take a half bite more. Is it possible to take a half bite of food?
And
you
then
can eat half the food, but the action of taking a bite is all or nothing. She didn't agree. I either take a bite of food or I don't.
You can take a half.
You can't take a half bite, right?
You can absolutely take a half bite.
No, you're taking a bite. You're either taking a bite or you're not taking a bite. Now, how large the bite is varies, but whether it's a small bite or a large bite, it is still a bite. Thus, the half bite.
Half bite is it's about your mindset, right? But
I don't
there's-
think so.
Technically, there's not a thing. I'm with John. I don't think there is.
There isn't.
I think because you got your average bite amount
Mm-hmm.
that you have, then you have a full bite when you're just stuffing your face. And I think a half bite is just less than your normal bite.
Trying to think. So, my great golf instructor at Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis, 402-498-0220, Mike Favre, he has talked about, there's a question he'll sometimes ask me about my swing. Like, did the ball do what it was supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a trick question because the answer is actually yes, because wherever you swing, that is what the ball is supposed to do whenever the club hits it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it goes 300 yards down the fairway or you duff it and it goes 15 yards. It does what it was supposed to do when you made contact with it. I think of that when I think of what John said. I think John is right. A half bite or a full bite or a quarter bite, it's just a mindset. But in the end, the bite is the bite. And so it's full bite.
And I'm guessing, the girl maybe I'll just guess here. It's like peas. Kids hate peas, right? What's a half bite of peas?
Half a spoon.
But that's still a bite.
Mm-hmm.
What if that's what they always eat? What if every time
Then
they take
half
a
of what
spoon-
they always eat.
But you're still taking a bite. That's the whole point. In the purposes of this argument, trying to get her to finish her plate or do whatever, there is no such thing as a half bite of food.
Zach
You're either
says
taking
you
a
can't
bite or
take a
not.
half bite. You can take a bite which fills your mouth completely or a full bite which fills your mouth halfway. But the bite is the bite.
The bite is the bite.
The bite is the bite. Man, you start saying these things over and over and over, and I feel like it's the wrong word now. This is kind of going back to the previous question. Mustache Adam, you can only choose one team of your favorites: college football, major or men's basketball, NFL, etc. And you could only watch, follow, and read about them for the rest of your
That's
life.
what I did for a year.
What's your choice?
I'll stick with Formula One, honest. If it comes down to it, if
Of
I have
course.
to choose between football or Formula
Yeah,
One, I'm
I
picking
know.
that one.
Well, I get paid for one, so that's the one I choose.
Oh, really?
Oh, you'd have to choose between CFB and you'd
No, he's talking about Creighton.
Yeah.
I get paid to do one, so
Oh.
that's good.
So you pick them over the Cubs and Rams.
I get paid to do
Yes,
one.
you
So
have
I'm getting
to.
a bonus of getting to enjoy something.
Would that include
follow
the
something
College
I
World
enjoy.
Series also?
Well, I guess, yeah, it just means Creighton hoops.
Now, if
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the Cubs and the Rams,
That's what I want to know.
right? The answer's different based on
How good they are?
how good they are.
Yeah, they're both really good.
And now, sadly, it looks like my golden era is dying.
For who? The Rams or the Cubs?
For my golden era.
your golden era fandom.
My golden era of
Dude,
fandom.
you
I
have
am in
had a
my
great
golden
run.
era of fandom where my teams have won championships. But now it appears to be dying. But maybe Dansby Swanson will bring it back for the Cubs. Maybe the Cubs will be my saving grace.
He played in the College World Series.
He did. That's a tough.
I feel like your answer is baseball. It's the Cubs,
I
right?
might pick the Cubs just because the season's longer.
Yeah, you get more entertainment out of it.
Right.
If they're good.
But that's the problem.
That is a good point, though.
You get more content.
Formula One goes
But then
from March
again,
to December.
NFL season never really ends.
Yeah,
does
but
it?
here's the thing, though. You can enjoy. I mean, like, I'm trying to think of how I want to phrase this. Like, if the Rams went away, I mean, you still love football, so you don't have to stop watching football, right? It's just your team. Yeah, you only get to watch and follow your favorite team. You still get to follow the sport, though. You know, like, would you follow Major League Baseball?
And that's what's difficult is how can you follow the NFL without also following one of the teams in the NFL?
I mean, you just follow the other 31, I guess, you know, and just start you're reading Pete King, and it's like Matt Stafford, and you get zapped. Like, oh, sorry, I can't read that sentence.
Well, that would also mean if my team went to the Super Bowl, I couldn't watch the Super Bowl. That's hideous.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
I would almost rather just not follow the sport at all if it was that way.
Yeah, for me, this one is so easy. It's the Cowboys, and I mean, there's no team that I care about anywhere near as much as them. I used to care about other teams.
It's a sad existence.
You really like CFB. I guess you could still.
But if I go off of what
watch.
John said, the paid component of it,
Right.
plus my relationship with Nebraska is so much different than it used to be. Because I think, as we've talked about, it just kind of has to change.
It does.
But
It
the
does
Cowboys
change.
No, it definitely does not.
It does change.
Let's see. There was one that I saw earlier. Here we go. Just got to find the original question. So I scroll. That Connor Happer Show asked this today. Is the Immaculate Reception the most replayed football play of all time?
Well, it is. Well, not only this week, but today with the passing of Franco Harris.
Mm-hmm. R.I.P.
But in speaking generally,
Grant says, I think the Montana Clark catch might be a bit more. See, the thing that I'm trying to figure out here, because, like, there's a point where you go too far back in time. Like, for example, who scored the Colts Giants NFL championship in 58? Who scored?
Alan Amici.
Okay, so Amici scores. I've seen that play how many times? 100. You've seen it a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so old that it doesn't get replayed as much. Whereas Dwight Clark, first of all, every time the Cowboys play the 49ers, you're going to see that catch. It's so important. You'll see it a lot conference championship weekend. So you got to find almost something recent, but not too recent, because you do need the built-in
I would say this,
history.
though. I would say this. Those two plays far more prevalent in terms of being viewed than, and maybe this is because, more time has passed, like the helmet catch.
Yes.
Another one of the great but yet unusual plays. Now, the catch, the Dwight Clark catch, isn't unusual. And that's probably why the Immaculate Reception may be replayed more, because it was just such an unusual play. Both plays launched a dynasty.
Which is odd, as Peter King wrote about this week. The Steelers didn't even win that year. They actually didn't win for 2 years.
Right, but that was their first playoff win.
Yes, it was.
So it really launched the dynasty.
Yes.
The catch by Dwight Clark is like the seminal moment that is kind of the beginning of launching the 49er dynasty.
Was that the same Steelers team with the steel wall?
That would be the steel curtain.
I know it's steel curtain, but that's
yes,
the bit.
it
now.
was one of them.
It's like Arnold Darnold.
Mm.
Yes, steel. It's such a tough question to answer. I mean, because it's been around for 50 years versus the catch, which has been around for 40 years. That is interesting, though. Those two plays.
I'm trying to think of what other
both
plays
happened in a year that ended in 2. I wonder if we're going to have.
Was the Cowboys?
Was the
Dolphins.
Patriots? Was the Patriot choke? Is that the seminal play of this year that ends in 2?
See,
Well,
the thing.
actually, the seminal play of this year that ends in 2 is Aaron Donald ending Super Bowl 56.
Imagine the Dolphins winning on the 50th anniversary.
That sounds horrible. No thanks.
I want it.
What else are we missing here? I got a negative play. So I guess all these plays are negative depending on your
Well, it depends on your perspective.
What, both of them that happened last weekend?
What about the missed field goal when the Bills lost to the Giants in their first Super Bowl appearance? I've seen that play a lot.
Yeah.
Don't think it's up there.
Yeah, a little bit.
What other plays are we missing? What other obvious
in the NFL?
In the annals of the NFL. Here's a more recent one. The what did they call it? The miracle.
The Minneapolis?
No,
Miracle?
I mean that's a good one for real recent times. What did they call the one with the Titans?
Oh, the
what did they call that play?
The Music
City Miracle. That one of like this century.
That hasn't been replayed as much though.
You don't think so? I just saw it this last weekend.
Really?
What happened on that one?
Go search Music City Miracle. I actually think Dumb Debate. Was the pass forward? I think it was. I've watched that play.
Think it was.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it was.
But they showed it. They showed it after the Patriots meltdown.
Yeah. That's a hard question to answer. But no. I mean, I can remember from very early being a football fan, remembering hearing about and seeing the Immaculate Reception and the legend of the Immaculate Reception. That's truly one of the great plays of all time. Maybe arguably the greatest play of all time.
What about the Tom Brady?
The puck rule?
Mm-hmm.
That's the dumbest play of all time.
Titan Scott reaches out and says, "It's been proven time and time again. Pass was backwards. Has it been proven?"
Listen, I'm glad the pass was ruled backwards because it gave the Rams a victim in Super Bowl 34.
Mm-hmm.
Take that, Titan Scott.
Nick's about to watch the play.
Am I? Every video I keep seeing won't just show me the play
Yeah,
itself.
it's like a long documentary.
lead-ups.
Gosh, I feel like we're
here's
missing
one.
an obvious play. I feel like we're missing an obvious play, and I just can't
So
figure.
there's 16
What's the
seconds.
most famous run in NFL history? Marcus Allen's in the Super Bowl?
No,
because you don't have any Mike Rozier type runs against UCLA.
Not that are. Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got a whole host of Barry Sanders runs.
Yeah,
and
so that won him a playoff game, Nick, and then they went to the Super Bowl. That was the first round.
But like a famous running.
Oh, Trevor
play?
says I feel like the Beast Quake gets played quite often.
I don't really see it that often.
Really?
I don't really
It doesn't
see
seem
it
like
that
you
often.
see any of these plays. I keep naming plays, and you're like, I have never seen that play.
Not nearly as much as you see the Immaculate Reception and the catch. Because anytime you talk about those franchises, and that's the other thing that has to happen is, and for a while, like the original Hail Mary, the Roger Staubach Hail Mary, I think it also matters which team is involved.
Yes. Well, how about this, Jim? This is a good one.
The Bart Starr sneak, the Packers.
That's a good one. That
The
one has
Ice
been
Bowl.
shown a ton.
Yes, it has.
Even though it's funny, it's a 1 yard score or whatever. But
It's a 1 yard sneak, but it's
so
what it
important.
symbolized.
And the weather. And the weather.
And it was the end of the epic game.
A couple, here we go. Jim says, Lynn Swan's catch in Super Bowl 10 was replayed a lot when I was a kid. That is a
Yeah.
great play.
Yeah.
That's a very famous one.
Yeah.
Scott, speaking of catches, says these days, every time somebody makes a crazy one-handed catch, they show OBJs. That's true. Anytime you get a cool catch in the NFL, they're like, hey, remember when Odell did it against the Cowboys?
Yeah.
In the game Dallas won, by the way. Grant says the Leon Lett strip. That comes up a lot when it's...
That comes up in like bloopers,
Yeah.
blooper-esque type moments.
Dan says Joe Theismann broken leg.
They don't really show that one anymore.
They used to. I remember hearing the story about that one from my dad.
You guys made me watch that one.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Yeah, I remember watching it live. It was something else.
Travis, not being able to watch your team in the Super Bowl. Josh already does that. Screw you, Travis.
Not in my lifetime.
Joe says, how often should you wash your bedding? The sex machine Nick should do this daily. I wash mine once a week. That's my Saturday after Saturday.
Yeah, it's usually once a week.
Saturday morning, and then the fresh sheets on Saturday night. It's glorious.
Once a week.
Once a week. How often do you wash your towels?
About the same.
Yeah, I'd probably do that once every
Well,
3 or 4
it's
days.
not as much wash them or just trade them out.
Yeah, I trade.
Like we have two different sets
But
for the bed.
you do wash them.
Yeah, you wash the ones that you're
Yeah.
taking off the bed.
You're not just like, oh, get it back out of the closet.
No.
Smells
You're
all
washing them.
musty.
So we're changing them out every week, and thus the dirty ones are being washed.
By the way, we were only talking NFL plays, but Dave says if it is not limited to the NFL, the Cal Stanford play is right up there. Yeah, if we were to incorporate college,
Well,
that might
if we
be
were to
the
incorporate
answer.
college around here. It's Johnny Rogers.
Johnny Rogers, Tommy Frazier, Matt Davison. I would say that those are the 3 most replayed plays around here.
Yes.
And I guess I'd throw in Eric Crouch's catch in the Oklahoma game, and I think you got a solid Mount Rushmore of most replayed plays.
Yeah, it's
around here.
It's right up there. I can't really think of a fifth that could knock any one of those off the perch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's And a lot of it, too, is the older the play is, the more legendary it has become.
Correct. And that's why, man, I mean, look, the question started with the Immaculate Reception, and that might just be the answer. That or Dwight Clark. I mean, we talked about the first two. Those might be the answers. I've seen those plays 100 times.
Yeah.
Easily. I've seen the Immaculate Reception like 5 times today.
Yeah,
and
me
that's not
too.
even searching it out. You know, that's just like, oh, I'm looking at ESPN. They're showing it again.
Well, you know what?
What?
Time to watch it one more time.
Nice.
Here's what it looked like on NBC.
Last chance for the Steelers. Bradshaw trying to get away. And his pass is broken up by Tatum. Tipped off. Franco Harris has it. And he's over. What? Franco Harris grabbed the ball on the deflection. 5 seconds to go. He grabbed it with 5 seconds to go and scored.
Let's watch
1
this
million
again.
to 1 odds on this one.
Ricochet out there off of Jack Tatum and into the Man of the Year, Franco Harris's hands.
Here's the miracle of all miracles.
I
That's a really
tweeted
cool
this
catch.
out earlier today. I am glad that play happened when it did. Because if that had happened today, instant replay would have ruined it. It would have.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Now, of course, the controversy, and a lot of people, younger folks, don't know this. The controversy about the play.
Well, there's 2 bits of controversy.
There's 2. The first and the one that the Raiders argued against the most is the illegal touching. Back in 1972, an offensive player could not deflect a ball to another offensive player.
When did they change this rule?
It may have been not too far after this, but I'm not 100% sure. That's what John Madden and the Raiders always argued for years, was that Frenchie Fuqua, it hit off of him, it went to Franco, illegal touching. The other is whether or not Franco trapped the ball. And the 2 views, and you saw if you were watching along in the stream, NBC had the end zone camera behind the play, and the famous NFL Films camera is from the end zone in front of the play. But the framing of the play,
it's
you
below
can't see the tip of the ball.
Yep.
You can't see the tip of the ball. And
Given how fast he's running, I don't think he did.
no,
He
I
catches
think-
it and just doesn't stop. His momentum is carrying him, and I
Yeah.
think he would have juggled it a little bit if the ball had touched the ground.
if the ball had touched the ground.
Yeah.
But I think, because imagine if that play happens
Oh, yeah,
today,
they gotta go to
we're spending
review.
15 minutes in review. It kills the spontaneity of the play.
Well, even you know what would have changed too, John? The announcers would have been like, "Oh, they got to review that. They got to
Yeah.
review that." That would have been included in the call.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Whereas
and
now,
it would have changed everything. Now, the interesting thing about that was they actually did, the head official did go into the dugout, because this was at Old Three River Stadium, the Pirate dugouts, and they had the phone there. And they actually talked to, I can't remember if they talked to someone in New York or if they talked to someone up in the press box about what they should rule on the play, because the question was about the illegal touching. And
it does look like in the replay. I always thought it touched off the Raiders first too.
I think it hits both. I think it hits Fuqua and then it ricochets off Jack Tatum, because that's what sends the ball almost 20
Careening.
yards straight back right to Franco Harris. And sadly, of course, Franco passed away today.
Yeah.
But his last radio interview, which he did just yesterday, he said, I was always taught by Joe Paterno, because he's an old Penn Stater, I was always taught by Joe Paterno to run to the ball.
And he
to
did.
run to the ball. And he ran to the ball.
Isn't it crazy? You know, because when I heard the news this morning, one of the first things that I thought of was I thought about Bo Schembechler, oddly enough, because he passed away before
the big Ohio State Michigan game
in 2006. And this Raiders Steelers game certainly is not as big as that college football game was, but it's being played in a few days. And the timing of stuff sometimes is just so odd.
Well, they are scheduled to retire Franco's number.
That's right. And I didn't realize that until reading Peter King this week. This is the third number or the fourth number that they're ever going to have retired?
Which
they don't even have Bradshaw's number retired.
I'm shocked that it has been retired before.
Yeah, it's funny. They have so many Hall of Famers, but
oh yeah, Franco's been in the Hall of Fame for 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, they have a ton of Hall of Fame. I think they have like 6 or 7 just from that era alone.
Oh, more than that.
Crazy.
Bradshaw, Swan, Stallworth, Franco, Mike Webster.
See how Webster's
Joe
number
Green,
isn't retired?
Here
we go. I got him for you.
Joe Green, Jack Ham, Jack Lambert. Is Mel Blount in the Hall of Fame?
Yep.
Mel Blount. I've counted 9.
Wow. Just
I bet there's more than that. Is L.C. Greenwood? I don't know if L.C. Greenwood's probably not in the Hall of Fame.
No.
Dwight White?
See, this isn't in order. I need the order that when they played.
Well, what are some?
So
of the
Mel
names?
Blount, you named him.
Mel
Bradshaw,
Blount.
you named him.
Yep.
I'm looking for ones that played in the 70s. Scroll. Joe Green, you mentioned him.
3.
Jack Ham.
4.
Franco.
5.
Jack Lambert.
6.
Chuck. No, well, he's coach. Chuck Knoll.
We'll count him. 7.
Donnie Shell. Would we?
Donnie
include
Shell.
him?
8.
John Stallworth.
9.
Good Lord. Lynn Swan.
10.
Webster.
11.
Wow. And they have what? Three retired jerseys, and they have 11 guys just from that
11
era.
guys from that era.
Nuts. Wow. Thanks,
And
Bean Joe.
all of those players were drafted.
Nice.
They were all drafted.
By the way, one more run because I was asking what we couldn't figure out an NFL run. Good one from Shane. Bo Jackson's run into the tunnel. That is a legendary play. I remember before YouTube, my dad telling me about that play. Yeah, there was this Monday night game where Bo Jackson just destroyed the Seahawks. And there was one play. He always tells me about the touchdown run that he has at the goal line where he ran
over Bosworth.
Yeah, but
and
then
of course people around here were nuts about that because they hated Brian Bosworth.
I think that's how the story began.
Did your dad do that same noise?
Probably. He probably loved it.
God, 11 Hall of Famers off of that team. It's nuts.
Man,
that is absolutely
what a time.
Nuts.
Also, the fans that we were watching the video, the fans jumping onto the field.
Oh, yeah, the fans
Field
jumping out
days,
onto the
man.
field.
Yeah. Also, that was quite the fall over there in the outfield or whatever.
Oh, yeah, because you had to jump on. Well, they jumped
Yeah.
onto the roof of the dugout and then from the dugout to the field.
Mm-hmm.
Steeler fans were a little different.
Uh-huh.
They're still very much a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, rest in peace, Franco.
Yeah, indeed.
Age 72. God, he always looks so healthy.
I know.
I wonder, it's sad. Yeah. It's too bad. He deserves this moment in the sun. But I think he understood how much he was appreciated. The Steelers really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And the fact that they have been so stingy about retiring numbers, I mean, there's an elegance to that. It's like,
yeah, it just sucks he wouldn't have been there for it,
Yeah, he should have been there.
Yeah.
He should have been there because it is truly the greatest play in NFL history.
Hard to argue.
Arguably the most replayed play in
Mhm.
NFL history.
And that's Dumb Debates.
And now Franco can argue about it with John Madden.
There you go.
And Madden can say,
Wow.
Did you really catch that off the ground?
God, give us a replay. That's what I'd always do.
Oh,
Go
no,
up to
they
heaven.
couldn't they?
God, show us the replay of all the famous plays.
John Madden's just up there ready to go.
Yeah, he's got his tape ready.
He's got those X's and O's.
It was incomplete. I knew it the whole
And then
time.
after that, they can sit over a scotch and say, all right, so how are we going to screw over the Cowboys this year?
Oh, come on, John. Leave us alone.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Some light to moderate snow before midnight, then windy and cold with blowing snow after midnight. Temperatures drop all the way down to minus 11 by Thursday morning. A high of 6 below zero with a wind chill of 35 below on Thursday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center, we've got your usual slowdowns today. Dodge in between 72nd and 90th is moving slow, as well as West Center Road from 192nd all the way down to Bob Boozer Drive. Remember, for tonight, our winter weather watch is starting at 7 p.m. And as those temperatures drop, the roads will start to get much worse. So keep a little bit of extra following distance and buckle those seatbelts. I'm Dan Campanen.
Time-saving traffic is brought to you by Omaha Children's Museum.
Join us for Santa's Magic, only at Omaha Children's Museum, featuring the Snow Queen, Santa's elves, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and of course, the big man himself, Santa. You won't want to miss it. Visit ocm.org for more information.
Hey, it's Happer for the FanDuel Sportsbook, and Santa Barkley is back, and this year he's giving new FanDuel customers exactly what they asked for. Unwrap the gift of a no-sweat first bet up to $2,500 back in free bets when you sign up with promo code HAPPER. That's $2,500 back if your first bet doesn't win, and right now is the perfect time to give FanDuel a shot because the app, it's really easy to use. There's great promotions on there all the time. When you win, you get paid out quickly. There's also the great odds boost, which I love, live betting for NFL Sundays, NBA game days. How about Christmas in the NBA and anything in between? That's just scratching the surface on some of the reasons why FanDuel is the best. So see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook and get in the holiday spirit with a no sweat first bet up to $2,500 back in free bets from Santa Barkley when you sign up with promo code HAPPER. 21 and over, present in Iowa, first online real money wager only. Refund issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
This holiday, take the time to celebrate and let the Rib Shack do all your holiday catering. Order famous female pitmaster Miss Jackie's delicious pineapple glazed holiday ham. Get that meal for only $125.99. It comes with our delicious southern sides of your choice. Our famous mac and cheese, collard greens, smoked string beans, yams, cabbage, baked beans, and our sweet butter cornbread, the true southern taste of down-home barbecue and soul food. At the Rib Shack Smokehouse, our meat is cooked slow. The St. Louis ribs, the rib tips, the smoked wings, the brisket, the pulled pork, all that we let you try it before you buy it. So come on by 108th and Q. Place your order today. Call 402-502-6695. Welcome to the Rib Shack.
News Talk 1290 Coil is your new home for Omaha Maverick hockey all season long. Don't miss a single puck drop, power play, barn burner, or any of the action this season. Your home for Maverick hockey, home and away, is News Talk 1290 Coil.
The Zone Hotline is powered by Los Hills Harley-Davidson, your home in the hills. This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson.
Kind of rely more on the rub.
Sub 1620, The Zone.
That was the other thing about Franco, too, the way his hip pads would always hang out the tops of his pants.
The old days. By the way, I know a lot of Husker fans were wondering today, hey, why isn't Barry Jackson signed? Hey, why isn't Barry Jackson signed?
Why isn't Barry Jackson signed?
We got our reasoning.
Yeah?
He's going to Cincinnati.
Oh, I thought you were going to say his pen ran out of ink.
Nope. He's going to Cincinnati.
He's on to Cincinnati.
I thought you were going to say he was going to go to Colorado.
No.
By the way, we're supposed to find out about Yukon Cornelius here soon.
That is in Yukon Cornelius.
Yes, I saw somewhere where Steve Sipple referred to him. Mr. Cornelius is Yukon Cornelius. He was in the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoon.
Sorry, that reference went way
that
over
went
my
super
head.
over my head, too.
Oh, sorry.
It sounds like a character in Yellowstone.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too. Oh, he's in 1883.
No, he's in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
But yeah, he's announcing within the next few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll find out if Nebraska's adding even more.
I think he's going to Oregon. That's my prediction.
Wow, that's a letdown.
Well, I'm sorry. That's just my prediction.
Man, that's a letdown. Man.
I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong.
Oregon.
Dude, they had a really good class.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah.
The should-be college soccer player of the year, Duncan McGuire, just got drafted in the sixth pick in the MLS Super Draft.
So he will not be on next year's team.
He will not be on next year's team. And Owen O'Malley was picked 9th.
6th and 9th?
Nice.
Hell yeah. Way to get it done, boys.
Yes, they did.
Nice.
That's the first time 2 Creighton men's soccer players
69.
have been drafted in the first 10 picks in program history.
So that said super draft. Is that just what they call the draft, or is there a difference?
Yeah, just there. That's what they call
it. Yeah, it's just a marketing tool.
It's the super draft.
The super draft, which is fine. Whatever.
Wow, I thought you were going to make fun of it.
I just wanted to make sure I
That's
understood.
just soccer being all soccery.
mean, they could just call it the
yeah,
draft,
there is
but-
some. Now,
You're the one making it
does
awkward.
does the MLS do the goofy timing rules too?
The goofy timing rules.
Do they count down or
the
up?
where they don't-
traditional soccer timing?
where they-
Yes, they do the
Count.
Goofy
traditional.
timing
They
rules
do.
where it's just
They-
arbitrary and it's just like, let's add.
Nick,
5
you
more
change
minutes.
engine rules every year in Formula One. I think that's stupid.
It's not every year.
Well, the engines have to be replaced because they break.
There's different regulations and stuff to try
I
to
think
keep
that's
it
stupid.
balanced.
I think
Josh.
that's stupid.
Well, how can you
That's
race
like-
if you don't have a working?
I'm
engine?
just saying. What the point I'm trying to make is, what one person thinks is stupid is not stupid for the fans of the sport.
I feel like it'd be
But
easy.
those fans are stupid. Thus, it does.
But
Make
everybody
Formula One,
underst-
I agree.
Everybody understands that a countdown means at the end of the countdown, thing is over. Whatever you're counting down.
I'm not even triggered by
It'd
the
be more
counting up
accessible.
thing.
Oh,
as
is this the
long as-
math problem for you again, Nick?
No, it would just be more accessible for new people.
It would. That is true.
I think it would boost
but
the popularity.
To me, it's just the arbitrary nature of we're going to add 5 more minutes, 9 more minutes, 6 more minutes. It's
Soccer
just
doesn't
dumb.
need me to cape for it, but Nick, I mean, it's the most popular sport in the
No,
world.
I
think they're
understand that.
doing okay with the fans.
If they want to make it more popular in this country, I think it would benefit them.
But Nick,
You sound like
Nick,
John right now.
Nick,
think about America.
Nick,
I'm not saying think. I'm saying think about their ratings.
You
If
don't
they want it to
understand.
break through more,
you don't understand.
Formula One's
For
adapting to
80
the American
years,
people.
soccer is the sport of the future.
Sport is
in
future,
America.
Nick.
Sport of the future.
I mean, let's
It's-
be honest.
They are the dipping dots of sports.
Let's be honest. If
different
that's the
the ice cream
reason,
of the future.
like, I just don't think that's the
Invented in,
reason.
like,
I don't
they're
think
not-
that's
1997.
the reason.
John
but I
doesn't
think it
watch
would be
soccer
a
because of the clock.
No,
because he
that's not-
doesn't like the sport.
It's just I don't.
You don't find it interesting.
I don't find it interesting.
I'm not saying that's the
I
sole
paid attention
reason.
though. I paid.
I don't think
attention,
that's a reason at
except
all.
for the
You
last
don't think
match.
it's
I
a
forgot it
factor
was
at all?
on.
Definitely not.
I don't. I keep going back to when I was at Thanksgiving. There's somebody at my mom's Thanksgiving sat down and they're like, "When are they done? How much longer is in the game?" Because it was counting up.
We're not sure.
And I said, I that's why I think it would be a little more accessible for just the layman if they flipped over to it. And
I
like,
mean,
oh, soccer.
Maybe, I mean, if you get maybe 2 people, I would be like, I just can't imagine that person like, man, I really loved watching soccer, but the clock counting up turned me away. Like, I'd just be like, well, that's
because
weird.
the clock counting up has to do with the rules too. If you don't know how long they have to score goals,
yeah,
then
the stoppage time.
yeah, if you
Right.
don't understand that, but I feel like
Floppage time.
nice. I feel like the countdown would just give a good baseline for people.
Jordan says, I always knew Nick was an American first guy. Probably bought some of President T's NFTs.
Not the NFTs.
Not the NFTs.
I got the Halloween
got
hat.
the
It has a
coins.
pumpkin
You got
on it.
the actual trading cards.
You got the gold coins.
I got the. I wanted the stats on the back. Those things could trade with my
Did you
friends.
get a Trumpy bear?
I didn't get the Trumpy bear.
You
They
didn't get
sold
the
out.
astronaut where he's wearing the sunglasses inside the suit.
Oh, absolutely, I did. They're gonna retain value. They're like Beanie Babies.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Beanie Babies.
My mom had so many.
I had 2.
I
Yeah, you were out of the again. This is
Weirdly enough, I think my mom actually did make a profit on when she sold all of
wow.
these.
Props to her.
Yeah.
I never made a profit off any of those things that were supposedly going to make a profit.
Yeah.
I still have all my
Not
trading
even
cards.
Pogs.
Nope. I don't even know. I think I might still have Pogs at my parents' house
What is a
somewhere.
pog?
You ever
I
played
don't-
Pog?
I don't
Did it
even
have the
know. I
slammer?
should never even ask this
Alpha's
question.
back in Pogs
I
form.
instantly regret asking this
Pogs
question.
were here. I'll just show you a picture real fast. It was a game. They looked like this. They're little. I don't.
What,
I mean,
wooden nickels?
no, they were like cardboard, and then you would have a slammer, and it was a odd game.
It's like marbles but flat.
It was a very 90s game. Very
Oh.
90s.
And then there was this whole meme where it's like an Alpha's back
See,
in
back
Pog
in my
form.
day, we would fold paper into footballs and then kick them through field goal.
Oh, we'd still
We
do
did that too, yeah.
We also did that.
That's a lot
That
better.
survived.
It's a
Hey,
lot
Hap-
better than buying pogs.
By the way, Happer made it to Lincoln. We're very happy.
Good for
the
him.
Snow has stayed away for now.
Yeah, well,
Make it
hopefully-
home, Happer. Make it
hopefully-
home.
Hopefully, they play a very quick game and he can get home before it gets bad.
Yes, indeed.
Coming up next, we have content, we have bet of the day, and there's more trash talk
Trash talk.
between the Eagles and the Cowboys.
What stupid
I
things
see that
did they
smile,
say
Josh.
this time?
Stop. A man is hurt, Josh.
You will
They're
find out.
so excited for
next.
Minshew mania. Oh, he has a mustache. Cool.
Well, so does Dak.
Exactly, but they're obsessed with his mustache. He does bits. Yeah, so do I. You don't celebrate me like you do Gardner.
Well, you don't have a mustache though. You need to have a mustache and do bits.
I wanted to shave off the beard except for the stash. She wouldn't let me. I wanted to just do the stash. like in the olden days.
I'm gonna go stash
What,
in
you
the
can't-
spring.
You do not control of your own life.
She was just like, you would look weird. It's like, wow, tough look.
Well, you can grow a beard back. Just do
there's
it for
nothing
fun.
you can do to fix
said.
that
That's what I
outside of putting a bag on your head.
I
There's
said, what if
nothing
I
you can do
ran
about
in my
that.
next marathon with just a mustache? And she said,
Hey, congrats on Boston.
She said, thank you, Nick. She said, I would rather you not.
Do the stash for Boston.
Yeah, I should.
Do the Boston stash.
Yeah, I should.
It'll make you fit in with all of the townies. You can shop with confidence at Woodhouse Ford and experience the Woodhouse difference. They are here to streamline your car buying experience, and Woodhouse wants to save you time with their knowledgeable, honest sales staff, fair prices, and a commitment to service that exceeds expectations. At Woodhouse, they're not just interested in selling you a new vehicle, but they want to be your trusted partners for a lifetime. And by visiting woodhouse.com, they can make car buying easy from anywhere. Shop all 3 of their Woodhouse Ford locations in Omaha, Blair, or Plattsmouth. You can chat with their online chat feature with one of those knowledgeable sales staff to find out more about your purchase, inquire about questions, and you can even do the credit application online. Woodhouse Ford is considerate of your time to provide you a quick, efficient, and pleasant purchasing experience. So visit Woodhouse in-store or online at woodhouse.com and experience the Woodhouse difference. Woodhouse Ford, Omaha, Blair, or Plattsmouth, or online at woodhouse.com. Woodhouse Ford, built Ford proud.
Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620, The Zone.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Come visit Omaha's Little Corner of France for mouth-watering appetizers and entrees, plus melt-in-your-mouth desserts. Pick up your holiday gift cards today or reserve their party room for your holiday gatherings. Les Voltaire will make you feel right at home, just like they've been doing for more than 2 decades. Les Voltaire, just off 156th and West Dodge Road in the Pepperwood Village, and at lesvoltaireomaha.com. Make New Year's reservations now for their 5:30 or 8:30 seatings. More info at levoltaireomaha.com.
This week, Zone has 5 great deals half off. That's right. Each day this week, we'll have a new deal half off that is perfect for those last-minute gift ideas. You'll find deals from Early Bird, Les Voltaire, Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream, Shug's Comfort Food, and Palm Beach Tan, all for half off. Make sure to log on at 9 a.m. each day to see what deal we have available, because these half-off deals will go fast. Head to 1620thezone.com and click deals now.
Hey everybody, it's Michael Sevilla for Rotella's Italian Bakery Bread. We want to wish you a happy holidays. It's such a great time of year, and we know you're spending it with your family, and you're getting together with great gatherings. Whether with your family or friends, we want them to be merry and bright. And from all of us at Rotella's Bakery, we wish you a happy holidays, and of course, that happy holidays involves tradition. 100 years of tradition from Rotella's, a tradition right at your house as well. Head over to 108th and Harrison or your local grocery store and experience a great holiday with Rotella's Bakery Bread.
Give gifts from Greenberg's and receive a Shields gift card worth up to $500. Choose from stunning diamond engagement rings, anniversary rings, pendants, earrings, and more. It will be a perfect gift for both of you. Make a $500 purchase and receive a $50 Shields gift card. $1,000? Get a $100 gift card. $2,000? Get a $300 gift card. $3,000? Get a $500 gift card. Hurry into Greenberg's for this limited time holiday offer. West Roads Mall.
This holiday ad will be over in 27 seconds. Unlike the new Duracell battery with Power Boost ingredients that can last 19,976 seconds in your kid's RC motorcycle, or 6,801 seconds on your beard trimmer for this year's family photo, or 15,172 seconds on your electric frother for some holiday eggnog, and many more seconds to get more out of your holiday season. Duracell, unlike this ad, engineered for more.
Holiday shopping? Backed by popular demand, stop by Cops at 72nd and Jones, Shadow Lake Town Center, or 180th and Center to grab a bite and buy a gift card. Cops gift cards are sure to please. Cops makes delicious pizza, fresh salad, and tasty charred wings with a variety of homemade sauces. They even offer keto crusts. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. Cops, now with 3 convenient locations to serve you. 72nd and Jones, the Shadow Lake Town Center, 180th and Center, or click copspizza.com.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
Look, I made you some
Unsportsmanlike
content.
Unsportsmanlike content.
Unsportsmanlike content. Content that's unsportsmanlike.
All right, on to other topics of the day.
There is a distinct possibility that the Pac-12 will sell most of its media rights to Amazon, meaning that many of their best games could be stream only. While it might get them more money, is it worth it for the potential for less audience?
There's a chance that Pac-12 could actually come out a little bit ahead of the Big 12 in terms of the actual money they bring in. But again, most of your games could be on Amazon. So imagine you're on a college football Saturday and you're flipping through the channels.
Bingo.
And, if I want to see Coach Prime against Coach Whittingham, or Coach Kyle, as he likes to be called at Utah, I'm going to have to grind up the Amazon. Now, there is an opportunity. Well, this was predicted by John Arand, who is a media writer for the Sports Business Journal, that they could sell off some of their games to CBS in prime time, and that could air after their Big Ten game.
Prime.
But still, man, it's for the Pac-12, it may be a chance worth taking just simply because what other options are they going to have?
Yeah, and if it gets you money, you'll deal with the headache of your audience being lesser. And it's not even because people don't have Amazon. Hundreds of millions of people have Amazon. It's the flipping of the channels. They also really seem so needy for control of what time the games kick off. You know, it's so funny. In the South, they hate early games. They want all their games at night. On the West Coast, they hate night games. And so they want to be able to control that and have more afternoon games. I would have to imagine, I would hope, I guess, that the commissioner has gone and talked to the various administrators and those that are running these schools, and that this is what they're okay with. In the future, I mean, we're moving towards this anyway, so I guess one of these leagues was going to be the first to dip in, but, I mean, it will be quite jarring.
It's not a current Eagle, but former Eagle, LaShawn McCoy, called Dak Prescott ass today on the Fox Chit Chat show. Dak is ass, McCoy said. Can I say that on TV? Because he is ass. Now, there's some fighting words, Josh.
Jeez. Didn't realize we could curse on television with children listening. Ass. Despicable and disgusting.
Well, you just said it.
Yeah, well, I had to repeat it.
You didn't have to repeat it.
It's like when you read Willy Wonka.
If you had said the F word, would you have said that?
No.
What if you just said Dak is F word?
Are you that person where it's okay to say it because I said it in the song?
No, definitely not, Nick. Don't you say that. Don't you say that. I hope that Dak plays really well on Saturday and that the Cowboys win. That's my take. Stop throwing interceptions, please.
Now, keep in mind, McCoy doesn't play anymore.
Yeah, what does he know?
He's just
he's
not
watching. The real McCoy.
And he's watching. And he says, yeah, he's not a good player. He's ass. He's ass. He's not just ass. He's ass.
Look, he's been playing somewhat poor, but I mean, the pick six to finish the game, that was a fine pass. It bounced right off his receiver's chest. You know what my dad said? Catch it with your hands. Catch it with your hands. Noah Brown.
He did, and then he ran it back for a touchdown.
Oh, I hate you so much.
I did.
I hope that your wife wants to go Christmas caroling with you.
She does not want to go Christmas caroling anytime.
I want her to take you outside and leave you there.
Just because I stated a fact?
Yes.
Meanwhile, the Eagles sent the Jaguars office staff 35 cheesesteaks thanking them for their win over Dallas. A kind gesture or evil trolling of MAGA's team?
A kind gesture. Yeah, that's what it was.
The funny thing is, I mean, yeah, did it help the Eagles? Of course it did, but it didn't clinch anything.
Nah, I know, but they're going to win the division now.
It didn't clinch anything.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder. I hope there was enough cheesesteaks to feed everybody. I mean, it'd be kind of bad. Whoever the
35,
whoever
that's
the
not
odd
enough.
man out is going to feel a little awkward.
Unless it's for just the coaches and the ops staff instead of the players.
I don't know who exactly it was.
Yeah,
for.
30. I mean, there's 53 full roster members, not to mention the practice squad. Wow, they're cheap.
Maybe a few of them are vegetarian.
Get a vegetarian cheesesteak, Nick. Don't defend this garbage.
I'm just
don't
laying out options.
No, I don't need to hear your options.
Arch Manning signed with Texas today.
Mm.
Must have been the chicken fried lobster. Does he finish his career with the Longhorns?
Oh, that's right, the chicken fried
Forgot
lobster.
about that story. Nice memory, Nick.
Thank you.
Yes. I think
No.
that family will want him to stick it out.
I'm going to say no.
Where does he go?
I don't know.
Georgia? Nebraska?
Georgia.
It would not. I mean, would it
Ole Miss.
surprise you if
Ole Miss?
Texas underperformed?
Definitely not.
And Sark was fired, and
Definitely
Arch is
not.
like, well, this isn't the coach I signed up for. and
Definitely not.
Left. I mean, the odds these days, yes, the Mannings are very traditional, and you know they want to stick it out, but it's a different world now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different world than when the GOAT Eli was playing college ball with Ole Miss.
Yeah, when he never won a division. Really good player. Really good player. Couldn't even win a division.
But he did win
he's
two
so good.
Super Bowls.
Oh, I know. I've watched.
In the last 27
I have
years.
too.
Shut it, Nick. Get back to reading questions.
I learned football. But the bigger quarterback news is former Wisconsin QB Graham Mertz is transferring to Florida. How pumped should Gator fans be for their next Tim Tebow or Jesse Palmer or Danny Werfel?
Very good.
Well
Hey,
done, Nick.
You hit it.
Reed boy.
They should be. Are you kidding? It's Graham Mertz. This is a former 5-star. They should be through the roof.
I mean, look, it's really important when you go in the transfer portal that you get a new holder to come in to help out with your field goal kicker, a scout team holder.
Wow.
They got a good new scout team holder. Laces out, Graham Mertz. The message board posts about this were many people were asking if I have burner accounts on Florida message boards with some of the negative things that were said about him. For the record, I do not.
Would you like to know the career numbers of Graham Mertz? Career completion percentage.
62.
Under 59.5.
Oh, I almost guessed 59.
Touchdowns.
Do you have the number of games he played in?
Yes. 20, 34.
29.
38.
Wow, so he had more than one a game.
Interceptions.
26.
Nice.
Nail it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, not great, Bob.
No.
Especially for a guy who played for 4 years and was the main starter the last, the last 3 years.
Yeah, it's
the
COVID
year.
Remember that game against Illinois?
Oh yeah, when the whole team went out. When the whole team went out for the wedding and then got sick and Nebraska didn't get a chance to play them.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Go ahead and make the I am the captain now jokes because Aaron Judge has been named the Yankee captain.
I hope this is part of the $300 million he's getting.
That was a part of the contract?
Yeah, it should be. Did you know, by the way, that the Yankees you're not guaranteed to have a captain. There's been years where there hasn't been a captain since Jeets retired. And before that, there hadn't been a captain.
Really?
Yeah, Jeets didn't become captain until 2003.
I mean, you don't really need captains in baseball.
Yeah, you don't. It's
They don't
more
have
of
a
an
coin toss.
honorary title. Here's where I have a problem with you, Yankees.
John,
The
not on
greatest player in the history of the Yankees
Babe
was
Ruth?
only captain for 1 year.
The Sultan of SWAT?
The
Great
Colossus
Bambi?
of Clout.
The Great Bambi?
The Great Bambino was only captain in 1922.
1922? That's
Yeah,
5 years
he had
before
just started
27.
with the
That's
Yankees.
before the Depression.
He just started with the Yankees.
Wow, Nick, way to be uplifting.
And then they went from 19. Okay, so you had all those great teams of the 50s. You had Yogi Berra. You had Mickey
boo-boo.
Mantle. You had DiMaggio. DiMaggio was never a captain. Mantle was never a captain. Berra. Okay, you can say, all right, fine. Mickey Mantle, he's too much of a drunk, blah, blah, blah. Yogi Berra Should have been a captain. No, they went from
Reggie Jackson.
They went from 1939 to 1976 without a captain.
Who was the captain in 76?
Thurman Munson.
Wow.
Until he sadly passed away in 79.
R.I.P.
So, yeah, it's just an honorary title. Cool, whatever. Congratulations, you and Ronnie Zeidler will have something in common there, Judge.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? There's a new Avatar movie.
Oh, yeah.
Not the cool Avatar, the blue
producer
Avatar.
Josh was really thrilled about it.
Yeah, he gave it a horrible review.
He was mad.
1.5 stars.
He went to go see it at 10 p.m.
That's stupid, Josh.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Well, Eddie Falco's in it. Earlier this week on an episode of The View, she said, I think I shot 4 years ago and then I've been busy and doing stuff. And somebody mentioned Avatar and I thought, oh, I guess it came out and didn't do very well because I didn't hear anything. She later said, I haven't seen the new one, so I'm excited. Seems like it, huh?
So she shot her parts of the movie 4 years ago and had no idea if it had come out or not.
So I was listening to a movie podcast this weekend, and the host mentioned that there is like a cameo from someone, but they didn't say who it was. I never would have guessed it was Edie Falco. That's not where my mind went.
Yeah.
I figured that has to be the one.
Oh, it's Edie Falco.
Edie Falco.
That's embarrassing for me.
Never.
She was on The Sopranos.
Yeah, she was Tony's wife.
We got an email.
Carmela.
I can read this now because I didn't get to it earlier in the crossover. But listener John, he said, so am I to understand that Connor has never seen The Sopranos? Is he not an American? Does he not love his country? Sad. Very sad.
I'm jealous
I
because
guess I'm
now
also
he
an
can watch it
American.
from the beginning.
Sad.
I've never seen it either.
It's a great show. Remember Stibbs watched it before he died. He watched it at the end and he was like, this show's so good.
It was
Nick,
great.
it's a really good show.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I would love to experience it for the first time.
Maybe I should watch it.
It's a really good
You should
show.
watch it.
You got
After
plenty, you got
Andor. I
next
need to
week
watch
up-
Andor still.
Oh my gosh. Did you finish Andor?
Yeah, I finished Andor.
Nice.
I would watch The Sopranos.
I mean, Andor, it's like 12 episodes, so you could bang it out real fast and then watch The Sopranos. Because Sopranos, you got seven seasons.
Well, I'm watching How I Met Your Mother right now.
Really?
Yeah. I liked that show. It was a
Yeah,
good
I
show.
did too until like season 5.
Oh, it was fine.
No,
It's fine.
It was. Did you watch the whole show?
Yeah, I did a full watch in college.
Oh,
And you're watching it again?
Because I haven't seen it in a few years.
And yet you haven't finished Andor and you never saw The Sopranos.
I haven't started Andor.
no, because Nick can't watch 2 shows at the same time.
I multitask at work. You saw my spreadsheet. If I'm at home, I don't want to multitask.
I actually didn't see your spreadsheet.
John saw the spreadsheet.
I saw the spreadsheet.
It's very big.
It was
Happer
very-
saw the spreadsheet. He really liked it.
We all enjoyed the spreadsheet.
Yeah, it's it's a bummer.
It is a bummer. All right. Coming up next.
A bummer again. Not
What?
really. I won. So
Yeah, I was going to say
we won.
Yours actually won. I didn't have faith in yours, and yours held up. Good on
Gotta have
Georgetown.
thank you, Patrick.
for being close.
Boom.
Ish.
Mhm.
Close enough. I won too.
Nice. Find out how Nick did with his weird part.
I'm gonna have to stick with hockey, man. This is where
You're
the money
kicking
is.
butt.
Hockey is where the money is. Go Canada! 1620 the zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Visit Sid Dillon Chevrolet to shop inventory or to order your new vehicle. And we're your Chevrolet Business Elite dealer offering medium-duty trucks and low-cab forwards.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Chevy, find new roads.
Hello, friends. Kent Pavelka wishing everyone happy holidays and best wishes for the new year from John Higgins Weather Guard. You know, we're fortunate to live in such a great community with a strong economy, good schools, and public service, along with a high level of health care and simply a great way of life. We appreciate everyone who's done business with us, and we look forward to meeting new customers in the new year. Happy holidays from your fans, the rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard, America's leading installer of Da Vinci roofs.
The holidays are here. This holiday season, we encourage you to come support our local stores in Omaha. And Westwood Plaza has everything you need to find that perfect gift. Ostad's Golf inside Westwood Plaza is a family-owned business with strong Midwest roots. At Ostad's, they pride themselves on creating experiences that turn customers into lifelong friends. Golf equipment may be what they sell, but at the end of the day, they're really in the business of fun. Come and see them for all your gift-giving needs at Westwood Plaza, 121st and Center. In Japanese, Zan means something akin to remaining, while Shin means mind or heart. In martial arts, Zanshin refers to a particular state of heightened awareness. The dojo, Zanshin Martial Arts, is the school of the remaining heart. Their mission is to support our community as a safe space for the improvement and protection of all. Get your loved one the gift of Zanshin Martial Arts this holiday season. Come see what they're about on 125th and Center inside Westwood Plaza. Everything you need to shop locally for the holidays is at Westwood Plaza in Omaha.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
News Talk 1290 Coil is your new home for Omaha Mavericks men's basketball all season long from Baxter Arena and on the road. You don't want to miss any of the action. Join me, Gary Sharp, the voice of Maverick basketball on News Talk 1290 Coil for this action-packed season with the new head coach, Chris Crutchfield, and you and the Mavs.
Listen to the Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jay shoot-around and overtime shows. The Creighton men's basketball pregame and postgame shows on 1620 The Zone. The Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jay shoot-around and overtime shows are also presented by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More, by Barry Law, by Union Bank and Trust, and by DJ's Dugout, before and after each Creighton game, exclusively on your home for the Creighton Blue Jays. 1620 The Zone, 1620 The Zone mobile app, and 1620thezone.com.
Holy cow, I inhaled at just the wrong time.
This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone.
And you know why I'm laughing, don't you? Now, it's time for the Unsportsmanlike Conduct Bet of the Day.
Just a little bit under where some folks would like to see this one wind up.
Brought to you by nobody.
You gotta be kidding me.
Really, we don't have a sponsor. Sorry.
Folks, call us winners because we were winners last night. John had a parlay with the Flyers and the Jets.
You guys could keep up with me.
I had Georgetown, a live line, and hoops. And how about young Nick, the Jazz, the Knicks, the Nuggets?
Basketball.
Plus 361. I'm going back to the association tonight. Give me the Milwaukee Bucks on the money line versus the Cleveland. We don't have LeBron James anymore. Cavaliers.
Quack.
Oh.
Quack. 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 The Ducks are a dog at home.
What?
To Minnesota.
Dog at home?
I'll take the Ducks plus 1.5 goals at plus 104 against Minnesota.
Nick?
I'm going to take John's idea and do hockey.
All right.
Give me the New Jersey Devils and the Colorado Avalanche, your defending champions.
People forget.
Plus 186.
It's bet of the day.
Against my Montreal Canadiens?
Wow, Nick, could you believe that he'd do that?
God, how rude.
They're the
How
defending
rude.
champions, John.
How rude indeed.
Damn, I'm up to 15. I think your accounting is wrong. I'm well over 2,000.
To scroll through the thread. I keep track.
Very poorly.
Dave. Hello, Dave. Text in. Thinking about the half bite debate a little. Don't we call defensive swings in baseball half swings? If there are variations in the amount of swing you have, it stands to reason there's variation in the amount of bite an individual makes. If not, wouldn't a nibble be a full bite? What about cars? Yes, all cars are cars, but once we agree on that, there's subjectivity within that classification. Nick is right.
No. A car is a car. Yes, a car can be smaller than another car. And about the swing, there's actually a rule. If it goes too far, it's considered a swing, thus an attempt at the ball.
What about this? What if it's the amount of force of the bite? So a full bite would be going all the way, like you have a hamburger.
Mm-hmm.
Full bite, teeth through the hamburger.
Mm-hmm.
Half bite, and then you pull out.
That's what she said. Now, the problem with that, though, Nick, is you could never take a full bite of bone-in chicken.
I
Because
guess
you'd have to eat it from the top, right? You can't just eat
well,
all the way
no,
through.
because a full bite, because you can eat like the chunk before the bone, right? That chunk of meat before.
Sounds
the
like a
bone.
half bite to me, and according to your weird rules.
Well, in this scenario,
Sorry, John and I are right. Sorry, folks.
That was a dumb debate.
It was indeed.
It was a dumb debate.
You know what's not dumb?
Thursday.
Well, I was going to say Ravi because he's coming up next.
He is coming up next.
Oh, he is coming up
I'm
next.
joining him tonight. We're talking some women's hoops.
And Ravi is also coming up on tomorrow's program. Also, Robin Washut and
oh god,
oh no,
Kevin Kugler.
What?
He was at the snowball game.
He was at the snowball game.
I saw him. I said,
he definitely
hi,
won't
Kevin.
make fun of the Dolphins. He would never do that. He would never make fun of any of us. Can't wait to see what he says
Can't believe he jinxed the Dolphins.
You're in a hotel room or wherever you're at, a closet. I'm at home. And Nick's
Oh,
here.
I will be at the arena tomorrow for the program.
The whole show?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Bye.